Hi, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, Speed Gaming fans. I'm WXFan21, joined by the fantastic DJ Webb, admin, racer extraordinaire. How are you, DJ?
I'm doing good. Nice to be with you here this morning. For me, at
Well,
least, it's 11 a.m. and we got a very exciting match here. OK Beamer versus Anthony. First race of the tournament for both of these two should be an exciting one.
likewise, this is something I told you pre-show. Very excited when I saw you sign up to do comms last night. I got excited because I've always enjoyed doing comms with you, DJ, and it's been a while since you and I have had a chance to do comms together. So this is going to be a good one. This is the first game for these two here. We're in Group G. First game for these two between Beamer and Anthony. This is a back-to-back, and it's the first game that these racers have played in their group stage. So DJ, you and IKEA went off yesterday, I believe.
Thursday,
And what
yep.
was it? Thursday, right. So that was your first game in the group here. And now we're headed here for Beamer and Anthony. So I'll go ahead and get us synced up. What do you expect here from these two very capable racers?
I am very interested to see how this goes. So Anthony, actually Beamer as well, a little bit on the newer side compared to some people in the tournament, kind of similar to myself actually. Uh, Anthony did have a pretty good showing last year in Mystery. Beamer had an absolutely incredible showing. Took some games off of some extremely good players. Was the eighth seed coming out of Swiss and made it to the round of 16. He eventually lost to Kip, who made it all the way to the finals. So Beamer, like I said, newer but definitely really good. He has some very uh, interesting playstyle habits compared to some other people. I feel like he plays riskier when he thinks he's like playing against really good players, and I think that kind of worked out for him last year, able to take some games off some really good people. Anthony, like I said, also a little bit newer, not quite at the top echelon yet, but I know he puts in a lot of work. He's always playing both this and a little bit of map rando, so should be a very interesting match to see. And being in the group with these two, I'm doing a little bit of scouting myself.
I like it. He's in here. He's doing some scouting. So working on audio sync. How's this? I'll actually bring DJ and I down to the same level. My mic is further away than I'm normally used to having, so this should be relatively equal. Beamer was a tad bit low, if you don't mind me saying there, DJ. So I've raised him a bit here.
Hopefully we can figure out the audio balance. It's a little tricky with us. The way I hear you, like your volume's perfectly fine to me, and so are the streams. But people out there on the internet have a different hearing than what we have, and obviously I'm hearing myself, not through my mic. But we have a interesting start here. Only missiles, and then morph ball and a reserve tank. So we're headed back to the top of the map. Our runners are pretty even here right now.
It's
Heading up
typically
this
not
climb.
something we've seen here, DJ, and the reason I say that is there are a lot of races that I've commentated. We've at least gotten one power bomb pack, so we've been able to, at the very least, keep that meme route door.
So our only option here is to go to Bomb Torizo. It will give us something that breaks bomb blocks, either the bombs themselves, or the speed booster, or the screw attack item. And then from there, we'll be able to go to the left in Criteria to Terminator. And we'll see what else the seed has for us. But yeah, right now, only really one path to go forward. This is area randomization, so more than likely at some point we'll have many different options presented to us, and our runners will have to decide what they want to do. We do have just the vanilla bombs. In my experience, it is pretty typical that if you need to get a bomb breakable item at this place, it is the vanilla bombs a lot of the time. I don't know if that's confirmation bias or if it's... I know there was something in the randomizer when they did something a few years ago where bombs were more likely, but I don't know if that's still the case. But you had to do a missile-only BT fight, which is very, very uncommon in randomizers, so you get to see a little bit of that vanilla action. I don't particularly know if either of these runners does much vanilla speed running. Actually, I do
So
know most.
Anthony is. I can't speak for Beamer, DJ, but Anthony's been getting into a little any percent, but also been training for that GTC tournament that's coming up.
Yeah. Okay. And a little bit of a difference here. Beamer with those bombs did want to check 230 missiles, and is rewarded with a super missile that potentially could be important. Although more than likely there are going to be other super packs available. It just kind of depends on what portals we get here.
That's a fun one.
That's not something that we can do anything with. There
Nope.
are many reasons we cannot do anything in that portal. We'll say that the biggest one is the fact that we don't have the various suits. And then
That's
the
back
other
correct,
door.
yeah.
Yeah, so we do need those supers. Or we need something from the gauntlet area. We do have 2 tanks now, plus those bombs. But I expect Anfunny not being able to do anything over here is just going to go ahead and get those supers. That'll let us go to the right. There's a portal over there that's just successful with supers, and there's another one at the moat that you do require power bombs for. Which there could be power bombs at Gauntlet. We have 2 miners back there, plus the miner at Old Mother Brain. Actually, it was actually the race. Myself and Iker had our second race where power bombs were pretty late, and there were at least 2 options to get your first one. One of them was at the Old Mother Brain, but that's when you're not coming back up from the bottom. It's pretty far to go just for the chance at one minor item, which is why I didn't go there. Iker did end up finding them, but we'll see what our runners decide here.
Speaking of map, DJ, I got you covered. I'm screen sharing the area tracker. If you're not doing it yourself, I got you covered. Just feel free to look at Discord for that. For you folks out there, if you want to keep track, because in this tournament, we're not going to be showing the area tracker as part of the layout here on Twitch. If you go and join the Discord, scroll up in the SMR Dash online channel, you're going to see a link to be able to find the SM area rando tracker. I downloaded it. I think it's fantastic. You can also keep track of your major items as well. So I'm using it just for the area tracker for the purpose of the races. So you can go ahead and check that out. More route divergence here. Beamer's headed to go get the door information. Anfunny is headed to Gauntlet.
Yep, I do think I kind of like the Gauntlet play just because it makes it so that, you know, potentially if there are power bombs, you'd be able to get every portal here in Criteria if this exact one that Beamer looked at wasn't where it wanted us to go. But it's the middle of Red Tower, so we got options again.
Now, Beamer just taking this and immediately tanking for a lot more door information. Probably not as comfortable with the CWJ, the bomb jump across moat.
Yep, and you do need power bombs to even get there. Anfunny got grabbed by a thing. A yapping maw, I believe. And now he has 2 health.
Oh jeez, Anfunny, please.
I usually like to super those things if I can at all. Ooh, but he is rewarded with the ice beam. Unfortunately, he still has 2 health. Yeah, the back is extremely difficult to get to without taking any damage. So I do kind of like just preemptively resetting there. You are extremely unlikely to make it through that and tell the tale. Pretty much no matter how good you are. Especially that last clearing those last set of bomb blocks with only bombs is extremely difficult to do without taking damage. So don't waste the time and try to be, you know, a superhero.
Yep.
But you would have definitely liked to keep that ice beam for starting.
That's new bridge. So DJ, something I've been talking to people about is the fact that we have seen Green Brinstar late in some of these races. Green Brinstar has 16 item checks. 5 of the item checks are considered majors for the tournament because they're just major minor item locations. You have the Green Brin Reserve. You've got Edicoons. You've got Wavegate, Charge Beam, Waterway. 5 major spots and 16 items overall. Plus, you get 3 big doors here. That door is going to lead to left side business center. A lot of interesting options opening up here from Red Brain and Green Brain.
Yeah, definitely one of the nicer places to find, especially early. When it's late, things can definitely get a little bit spooky. We did a little race last night, and it was very, very long before I ended up finding Green Brain Star. And it's kind of one of those things that happens. You know, there are 3 entrances to it. There's 3 places where they're like pretty big, and then there's the boss areas which have 2 or 1 entrance, and then Green Brain and West Meridian are kind of there in the middle with 3 and 4 respectively. So it can be somewhat difficult to find, but it is also because it's a place with a lot of majors, and 4 of them are basically always accessible, provided you have all your minors. It's a place you typically do see sooner rather than later in a lot of seeds. But right now, we are still looking for that 3rd minor, the power bomb. None of those high jump miners did give us a power bomb.
Yeah, really strange. We haven't seen any power bombs here yet.
Yeah, for the random
TV pack.
Yeah, I think you might have been muted there for a second, Adam. But yeah,
I was once again still working on audio. Sorry, I was hoping we'd have a lot of nothing. We'd have some downtime where I could continue to work on the audio.
Yeah. So for the randomly placed miners, you do expect not a ton of power bombs, but the randomizer does guarantee that there is a power bomb available. It places one, and then the rest of the ones that exist are just minor or random. But where that first logical one is, it can be pretty deep in some seeds. I have definitely famously played a seed a little under a year ago at SGLIVE, where it took me and MM2 like 20 something minutes, I think, to find power bombs. It's a thing that can happen sometimes. But we do have Green Brinstar available. Beamer does not care enough about that X-ray to lose all of his health. Not that he needs his health currently, but it is a little bit faster to, reset here. Maybe.
So, real quickly, chat. I've set our audios so they should be a little bit better. Again, my mic is further away. DJ, I've got a boom arm at my desk here, and I accidentally broke the ball joint for the 2nd time, so I've already requested more. Because I keep trying to shove it against something that's stuck, and it don't want to go that way. But anyway, so my mic is a little bit further away than normal. But DJ, I've also pretty much set us where at least our audio levels should be fine. So Twitch chat, let us know how the audio sound, and I'll do my best here. DJ and I are playing back and forth, basically just doing what we can because we don't have a tracker today, or at least for this set of games, we're playing back and forth tracker as well. So, Charge Beam is vanilla. Nice item to find here. That's one other thing I feel like we should mention, DJ, because this is the Dash Randomizer. There are certain things, if you've played Dash Rando before, the Dash Randomizer itself has a couple of uniquenesses to it. Gravity Suit could have the possibility of heat reduction, which is not enabled in this tournament. There is a Dash-specific item that is enabled in this tournament called Double Jump. That one's enabled. Heat Shield is not enabled. And the item distribution for Dash in this tournament is 3 missiles, 2 supers to 1 power bomb.
It seems like it's our audio that's a little bit...
It definitely seems like it's more on your end, DJ. Do you have a game you might be able to drop down just a little bit?
I need to be quieter is what it sounds like, which is typically the opposite.
I have dropped you down from 100 to 70 in the controls. Oh, speaking of gravity.
Speaking of gravity, yes, absolutely. We found our first really big item here. Nice to have a suit early on. See if we can get rid of our other little hiccup right here with the power bombs. You are unable to get 3 of the 5 majors without power bombs. We didn't see Wavegate, we didn't see Edakuns. The Waterway requires both power bombs and the speed booster, but right now we have plenty of options still with having gravity suit and the morph bombs. So there are definitely places that we are able to go. We did see a couple of West Meridia portals here that we haven't done anything with yet, and we're not in any way locked in this area here. We do have supers to get out. And Anfunny is actually showing us an often skipped location here in Major Minor. Takes a little bit of time to get in here. Several doors, you gotta do a little super trick. But this, I mean, it's very possible that this is a power bomb, and that will be a pretty big find. It's not, though. Just a missile, and we do already have that charge beam, so we are not necessarily looking. Beamer did get power bombs. I missed those.
Beamer out.
I was gonna say you probably wanted to check that that little miner there with those bombs, but it looks like there was a power bomb there in the Greenbryn Reserve area. So finally got that third miner, and we'll be able to go most places that aren't Lower Norfair right now, especially because we do actually know where the ice beam is. That's East Meridia access, and we haven't seen East Meridia yet, but it's another option that could present itself to our runners. Also very nice having found that meme route for 2 reasons. Number one, you don't want to follow it, so it lets you go back through Green Brinstar. And number 2, it's not, something you have to worry about being an outstanding dead end or anything like that. So we're going to be going back through Greenbryn, get those other majors that we couldn't get, and then probably, we could go into West Meridia from a couple different locations. We could check that 2 portal in Red Tower as well as the other 2 at the top if we wanted to. Yeah, Beamer having reset that X-ray scope as well as not checking the Spore Spawn miner is a little bit ahead here, but our runners are still pretty close. We'll see how each runner is. Always, of course, that gauntlet trip also took quite a bit of time from Anfunny.
Well, I'll still work on some of the audio stuff here, as you mentioned, checking out some of these. So it ends up being just an E-Tank DJ and Spring Ball. So, but this is not something unusual for this tournament. We have seen 4 E-Tanks and a reserve lead to Volley Suit in Upper Norfair Bubble Mountain area. Typically, it's been in Norfair Reserve. So, yeah, we're working on it. Razors are working on it.
The randomizer does have the ability to force you into some heated runs in Upper Norfair to get progression for the rest of the seed. We do have 5 tanks now, 4 energy tanks and a reserve, so everything in Upper Norfair is certainly possible for our runners to do right now, but there are, again, other places that you could go. Again, we got Red Tower to explore. There's 3 more portals there. There are a couple of West Meridia portals. There is also that item at the Mama Turtle, the lone major in West Meridia. It looks like that's where Beamer wants to head for now.
Hey DJ, just because I can and because Twitch chat wants to be fun. Welcome to SMWX Day SMR. Just because Twitch chat wants to continue to whine, complain, and moan, you're welcome. Please enjoy the dulcet tones here of West Meridia as you see Beamer making his way through Everest as he may be making his way through the Mama Turtle. But first, he wants the redfish information door. There, is that better, chat? You bunch of whiners. No, I'm kidding.
It is very strange. Typically, I am the quiet one and you are the loud one. I'm not exactly sure what's happening. I promise I didn't sabotage anything. Just
what we're understanding is we're actually hearing back from Speedgaming right now. There's an audio adjustment bug in the system, so it sounds like I've been adjusting you and I've been getting softer.
Interesting. We will endeavor to figure that out sooner rather than later. As we'll see what this top portal is. It's Kraid, which is a pretty good find here. We do have the ability to kill 3 of the 4 here in the Kraid location. We do also have this miner here. We're in a good spot having bombs. We don't have to worry about our power bomb usage. It is take a few of those to get in and out of this area, and provided this isn't Ridley, we have 2 easy majors to get here.
Yep. Now, DJ, real quickly, while we have the fantastic SME working on our audio issue, again, we've been told by Speedgaming there's a potential audio bug in the system. They're working on it. Why don't you tell us a little bit here, because we're getting to the point of where we could have what I've been referring to as one-way doors or one-way routing. Can you tell us what some of the uniqueness of area random is in terms of one-way routing, just the way that some of the doors line up?
Yep. So basically, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are 11 distinct areas in the game. We've been in several of them now. You've got Criteria. Brinstar split up into green and red. There's Upper and Lower Norfair, East and West Meridia, plus Wreck Ship, Crocomire, Kraid, and Turian. When you see the flashing doors scattered around the map, you will be taken from the area you were in, more than likely to a different area. There are certain cases where you can end up in the same area, but that can only happen once. And, yep. 4 of them, or 3 of them, there's only one entrance to. That's Kraid here. You can only enter and exit from the same door. Crocomire the same way, and then Turian the other one. Although, obviously, at the end of the game, you do end up back in Criteria. But you have to find everywhere, especially those boss areas. That's Kraid, East Meridia, Lower Norfair, and Wreck Ship. And kill the 4 bosses. We got shifted bosses in this tournament, which means that each boss has 1 copy. They are randomly placed. You do have to have at least 2 swapped. You cannot have the vanilla layout, as Anfunny shows us the 2 portal taking us to Turian. That's a nice find to have early, but we're not going to do anything with that yet. And with shifted bosses, when you kill the boss, you open any gray doors that exist in that area. So Fantoon, the 1 boss out of the 4 that doesn't have an item room attached, it's just the Fantoon room. Typically what Fantoon opens is in the Wreck Ship, but we're in Kraid's lair, so we are going to be having access to the Kraid energy tank item here. So only 1 major in here, as opposed to normally having 2. But you found a boss area, you killed the boss in here, you get to get everything in this area done in one fell swoop. In the other popular boss randomization shuffled, you would not be able to check out this Kraid boss item, but the Wreck Ship would be open when Fantoon is killed. So those are the big distinctions between those. Anthony is trying out this early X-ray, got that final damage boost very, very barely. He was almost too low, so we're going to see what X-ray holds for us. Just a reserve taping as Beamer finds the lone Kraid major being the Plasma Beam. By far the strongest of the 4 beam upgrades.
Where my Plasma Beam fans at? Not you Spazer lovers. Where my Plasma Beam fans at?
Yes. So, even if you have all 3 of the other beams, Plasma on its own is still 50% more powerful. So, especially already having the charge beam that we found early on, that is a very, very nice find. We basically don't need any other minor items at this point, especially if, for example, Anthony would go back and get that ice beam, which if I was in Anthony's shoes and I got that plasma beam, I would be looking at that ice beam, say I can do East Meridia, that's 600 beam damage. The dash randomizer is very kind and displays your charge beam damage up there in the HUD on the top right. That's why you see 60 on Anthony's side and 450 on Beamer's side. As Anthony is actually going back for that ice beam right now. I do like that. It feels kind of bad because you already went there and it's just like going to a major item location, and he's basically just going to be going in and out. But ice beam's a really good item. You'd already have charge, so that adds value to the beams. Plus, like I said, that East Meridia access, and with the gravity suit and all of this energy, pretty much not going to have any trouble with this gauntlet. But I do expect he's going to go in and out. And then look at that moat portal, which we have not seen yet from either of our runners.
Correct. Also, audio should be good now. Thank you, Esme. We've been trying to figure things out. Speedrunners Arena, we thank you so much for the raid. Hope your SMX Classic went well. All right, so there's your East Meridia entrance portal. And where did we get this one? Main Street? Oh no, it was
Yes,
top of the tower.
No. It was Main Street. That's where he was. And this is the so-called bad portal. It takes a lot longer to get to where you need to go here. And of course,
annoying.
like I said, Beamer does not have the ice beam, which Anfunny has gone back to pick up, as the tracker will mark here shortly, as well as that plasma beam.
You know, I hear the tracker for game number 1 is pretty goated.
I have definitely had more skills in the past. I'm also going to mark the other item that Beamer picked up, which was the space jump. Talking about it is definitely helping me because I am mostly focused on talking. But yeah, I do know Beamer is a big proponent of the Crystal Flash clip. However, the Crystal Flash clip, you need to be able to Crystal Flash, which requires 11 power bombs, and he's only got 5. So we are not going to be going forward here in East Meridia unless we either find 2 power bombs or the speed booster. And there's only one accessible major here right now, which is the left sand pit. So curious to see what happens with Beamer here. I don't think I would have done this check, not having access here. He did have the ability to go back into Red Tower, check out some of those things. He hasn't even seen that Turian door, which is information that is good to have early. And if this is something like Croc, for example, at the front, Beamer could be in a somewhat bad position if he can't end up finding some ability to move forward through this area and get the boss killed. It is also possible, of course, that this is Ridley back here, and again, we don't have the supers or the health to do that right now.
No, Moat Croc, speaking of.
So it's not a dead end. We have found all 3 of them thanks to Anfunny's movement through the map, but high jump boots are a pretty good item overall, but not going to help Beamer do anything in East Meridia. So he's going to be checking this front door, most likely just leaving out of it. Springball making this really easy. I don't mind picking up those supers. If you do end up skipping Varia, you would rather kill Ridley with supers versus your beam. Pretty much no matter what beam you get, we are just a wave away from that full beam combo. But speed booster's there at Croc, so Beamer has to get back to criteria one way or another to find one of the easy paths through East Meridia. I'm very curious how Anfunny will decide to handle this second Croc item. I think I would have left at that point, but he looks like he is staying here.
Yeah, we still don't have Varia. We've seen a lot of racers just, you know, go for both items. You're already here. Top of Red Tower. Interesting. Aqueduct, top of Red Tower. At least that's an easy way back from Beamer. The problem is this second Red Bryn Tower looks like it's going to be either West Ocean, 3 Musketeers, or one of the other 3 Upper Norfair items. It's most likely one of the Upper Norfair doors, because it's a rarity, if ever, that we've had doors connected on themselves.
Yep, and you were right there. We have single chamber. Anthony looks like he really wants to spark to this miner, which is interesting. Again, we do have charge. He hasn't, explored a ton of the map. He doesn't obviously know that Plasma Beam is just going to fall into his lap. But
those
being a little bit more thorough on these minor item checks.
Yep, and again, 5 power bombs.
So, I do think Beamer looks like he wants to do this X-ray check as well, but likely headed to get the speed booster if he does come out of this middle Red Tower portal. That will put him right back in criteria, and then he'll check this out. And with Charged Plasma, you can one-shot Crocomire, so he'll be good to go there. As Anfunny, again, being really thorough on these minor checks. Charge Ice is very much not a very powerful beam. So, if you were in a seed where you had Charge Ice and you didn't get any other beams, it's nice to have, more supers, but definitely not necessarily going to be, the most needed with the rest of these, as he does find the double jump, the one dash unique item you were talking about that we do have, going to get replaced more than likely by that space jump. Although he has a chance to not necessarily ever look at that, because he is going to find East Meridia from the front. I guess he does have to get into West Meridia for Kraid. This map is definitely a little bit interesting as far as, how you traverse it. I guess Kraid and Turian overall really aren't that far from each other, as every miner in here was a super for Anfunny, so he's got quite a bit of surplus in that front. Barely even needs the charge beam that he's picked up already, but we'll see how those work together. And yeah, I forgot Beamer needed to clean this portal up too, so he's got quite a little bit of map information to gain compared to where Anthony's at, but he does have the first boss dead of the seed, and yeah, with that he has the option to end up looking at Croc. He also can he can do some hell runs here. He could also go into wreck ship from the back. He does have that gravity suit. Yeah, this looks like he's heading back to Upper Norfair, so very, very divergent routes, and especially because Anthony has both ice and speed. Very unclear who's actually got the advantage right now. Like I said, Beamer can elect to, sequence break that logic step and just do the Crystal Flash clip, but he would need to find power bombs to do that, and right now, we've only seen one pack.
It's possible, and I didn't get a chance to mention this when Beamer was an Aqueduct. It's very unlikely. But if you did snail clip to get to the two Aqueduct miners, best case scenario for Beamer would have been double PBs.
And without that speed booster, it does have to take the long route here from Business Center to Bubble Mountain via this cathedral sequence. As Anthony is literally playing like he doesn't have the charge beam right now, which is very interesting to me. And he keeps getting supers. He's now up to 40.
I don't think Anthony might be comfortable with just the charge ice combo. That's my take if he's hunting for miners like this.
Yeah, like I was saying, just charge and ice is very weak, but we're still relatively early in the seed, and you can definitely find other beams if you elect to play that way. It's just up to runners, and
I know Anthony pretty well as a runner. And I guess somewhat as a person, I actually got a chance to hang out with him and his fiance when I was down at the Counter-Strike Major in Austin back in June. But playing a lot of map rando for Anthony, I wonder how much of switching back between map rando, Varia randomizer, now dash randomizer. There's the Varia suit again. This is the third time I've seen it now in Norfair Reserve. And then obviously playing all the different types from whether it's an any percent and GTC. How much are all of these mentally in the back of Anthony's mind? What does he truly feel comfortable with? Is if he feels more comfortable here with all the miners, that's fine. I mean, you got 40 supers. You should be able to beat Ridley with no problem. The problem is beating Ridley on a 4 E-Tank fight is extremely difficult, even for the most elite of racers without Varia suit. Even when we now know, with Beamer's Varia suit here at Upper Norfair, this is great. But, DJ, I point this out to you. Anthony has a 1 in 3 chance of going through Meridia, and this end up being Ridley.
There's that wave beam. We found like every good item already, funnily enough. We have both suits. We've seen Ice Wave Plasma, we've seen High Jump, we've seen Space Jump, we've seen Speed Booster. But like of the good items, it's like half and half between our runners. Obviously both have gravity. The tracker's about to light up with that Varia suit on Beamer's end. And yeah, this is a really, really fascinating race, how it has played out. Beamer did find another power bomb, so he is 1 away from being able to do that Crystal Flash clip I've been talking about, and Skip having to find those items, Ice and Speed, which Anthony has showed us. And Getting one of those isn't necessarily super bad, but getting both of them probably not the greatest thing considering it's Gauntlet and a Crocomire fight. So we'll see. Beamer almost, I mean, he barely even has a reason to find Crocomire at this point. He does basically just need to be able to get through Batoon Hallway to be able to beat the game. He's seen East Meridia, he's seen Kraid and already done that boss. He has been through East Meridia, knows where that is, and then Lower Norfair, we have seen the front. So it doesn't need any more information technically. It is the longer sides of both Wreckship and Lower Norfair to go through, but we'll see how Beamer ends up handling this. Anfunny is going to kill this Batoon here, like we said. Given that we know where Variasuit is, this could go from bad to worse here for Anfunny if this ends up being Ridley, because you just elected to do East Meridia before Upper Norfair, which...
Yeah, it's just kind of like I said, the worst case scenario for Anfunny here is Ridley, but if this is an E-Tank, and it is, Anfunny has enough experience with doing Ridley from his time playing Map Rando that this shouldn't be a problem for him.
Yeah, 5+1 as long as your health is completely full, which he's farming up here, so it will be. And all these supers, definitely a doable Ridley fight.
But again, 5+1 is still extremely dangerous. If you can't manipulate Ridley's boss code and the way he's been coded in the game to move around the way you need him to, all it takes is one extra tail whip, a fireball, a couple extra swoops, and goes away. You are losing all of that precious energy that you really couldn't afford to lose on a 5+1 Ridley fight because of all the heat damage you're taking in the background. Remember I mentioned to you all the upper right hand corner of your screen, you see a little flame. That is the heat reduction disabled as one of the tournament presets. So keep that in mind. Here comes the safety save. Beamer is going to go all the way down Lower Norfair here. Where was Three Musketeers? Was it Chronic Boost or was it Croc Speedway?
It was Chronic Boost, yep. So the Croc door is going to lead to front of Wreckship, which was definitely the better outcome for Beamer. He has a pretty clean route through the end of this game, provided he can get basically one more power bomb. And yeah, to your point about Ridley, we do have the high jump boots, so that definitely makes the fight more comfortable as far as, you know, jumping around, moving around, and manipulating the boss coding like you were talking about. He looks like he's doing a pretty good job right now. This is a very long pogo. Too long, as it turns out. It ended up making him run into that claw. He's going to try to keep this up. It did manipulate another pogo here, or just, you know, get a lucky one. If he can get, like... That is good. He's in there. Very, very nice. And you did definitely... you want to leave at least 100 in your reserves. He didn't really need to do that auto-fill, or the manual fill, but it does save a little bit of health. And he'll definitely be fine here, so...
Beautifully done from Anfunny. And that's the biggest hurdle, and a clutch E-Tank on the way out. That's the biggest hurdle for Anfunny along his way here. That was the biggest hurdle for him, was getting through East Meridia. If it was Ridley, was the biggest hurdle for him. So now he's got one boss down. Beamer's about to have two. But again, Beamer still doesn't have enough to get through pre-Batoon Hallway. Oh, Anfunny, what? Now you want to pick up the super missiles? Whatever.
I mean, he didn't need them beforehand, as he showed us a very nice...
He didn't need them now!
I agree about that too, but he's been very thorough on these minor checks throughout the seed, so it's kind of been how he's playing this. Unfortunately for him, I mean, we've seen 2 powerbomb packs this seed, and you do need, if you're going to skip Varia, you'd either need like every E-Tank in the game, plus some very convenient refills in Lower Norfair, or you need to be able to Crystal Flash. But given where the back of Lower Norfair is, finding Varia seems pretty likely to me. So this is really just going to come down to where is the ability for Beamer to end up beating East Meridia. and how long does it take Anfunny to catch up? Again, that gauntlet check and reset and then repath plus all of Crocomire are some time setbacks that are putting Anfunny at a bit of a disadvantage here, but he is about to find West Meridia, which will get him the Kraid boss and that plasma beam and make him laugh at all the supers he picked up. Obviously, they let him kill Ridley on path, which is really nice. But otherwise, definitely not something they need. I have no idea why you would possibly check plasma when it cannot be the various suit, and I would expect Anfunny knows that.
Yeah, this is Phaser, Grapple, or Screw Attack by process of elimination, from what we've seen, or maybe more E and reserves. But
I mean, yeah, we got plenty of energy tanks outstanding. That's for certain.
Bro, we had 13 E tanks last night. Okay, between Schmo and Beef Robber, we had 13 for each racer. I was kind of joking with them during the post. What, you couldn't go for all 14?
Yeah, I will also point out, he came here and his ability to kill these pirates is Speed Booster or Pseudo Screw, and this is not the easiest short charge, and Pseudo Screw does take quite a bit of your health. And it was just the Spacer Beam. Again, because in shifted bosses, this location is unlocked by killing the boss that was at Dragon's Lair. Ridley cannot lock the various suit under any circumstances, which means there was zero chance that this was going to be the various suit, which is why I was surprised that he ended up wanting to check this. He's got that spark. That's the one that you don't need to kill via a spark. The wall pirates are vulnerable to anything, including all of your beam shots as well as missiles and supers and power bombs.
I hope you're taking notes, chat.
Ooh. And I think he got the top one with those echoes, but I think there's another one. Yeah, again, he does not need to spark that one. And again, that is something that I do expect Anfunny to know. But he did, he got those short charges, and he's got everything in here dead. That Grey Door is now open.
Yep. Alright, 2 bosses down for Beamer, 1 for Anfunny. So how we mark bosses here, chat, just so you have an understanding, is bosses are being marked down by the area they are defeated in. So Beamer's beaten the boss in Kraid's Lair and the boss in Lower Norfair. So Kraid and Ridley have been marked. Anfunny's beaten the East Meridia boss. Dragon has been marked off.
So we just have the wreck ship area. Beamer is about to be there right now, and it does contain a Kraid boss. Again, there's the only thing of any relative value that could be there is the Screw Attack, but given that Beamer has already gone through Lower Norfair, the value of Screw Attack is pretty minuscule. And again, he's looking at these miners. He's looking for a power bomb. He looked at that middle maze miner, and I didn't see what it was. I don't know if, I think even if it was a power bomb, you do probably still look at that ocean miner. But if he can get a power bomb, he will be good to go. The longer it takes him to find one, the more opportunity Anfunny has to potentially catch up, but it is getting pretty far away because Anfunny both has to go up to this Kraid boss area, kill that boss, and then Beamer is even going to take that super. He very much did not need it, given that he has 750 damage beam here, as Anfunny is going to end up getting this space jump, replacing that double jump. You're going to see that little purple swirly icon in the HUD go gray here in a second, because with space jump, double jump is useless, because it's one use instead of infinite uses. So I'm curious how many majors Beamer checks here. Definitely going to look at the item behind Kraid, and almost certainly going to look at the item over there at the right super, and we'll see after that. We do have left super potential for a power bomb, but his convenient minor checks are not very plentiful here at this late stage of the race. So I do think if he were to, for example, go to Crocomire, kill it, and get the speed booster, that would probably still give him plenty of time to keep this lead that he has. But yeah, Anfunny just has quite a bit to do, given how the map traversal has been, even with the full, pass-through of East Meridia that Beamer did. Anfunny also did a little bit of a front-to-back action. and had to do all that preparation for Ridley that Beamer really just doesn't need because he's got Charged Relief Plasma. Yeah, we're just seeing a lot of E-Tanks again. The only unique items we didn't know about were Screw Attack and that Grapple Beam, which again, that Grapple, the only function it has is getting Beamer access to Shack Tool. And he says, I don't care about Shack Tool, which is completely fair. I'm not going there. We're not going to do anything about that Grapple Beam. And there's his third Power Bomb. So yeah, that's going to be go mode here for Beamer. We'll have to make sure that his Power Bombs, he's probably going to want to farm to all the way to 15, but he's got those bombs. So the Crystal Flash clip, pretty easy for him here. As you see, Anfunny has found his way to Kraid's lair. Beamer. If I look at my map, how do I think his best way to get back to East Meridia is? It's at the top there, so I would have just gone out the front. You can get right next to Aqueduct Portal in the Red Tower by going to Single Chamber there in Upper Norfair, so I do think this is purely for this major check. Even with the ability to Crystal Flash, I do like, still trying at least a little bit to get the easier access. Crystal Flash clip does take a lot of setup. You gotta completely damage down. You have to have, your miners in a good spot. And, all the other things that go into Crystal Flashing. So we'll see. He is going to end up just going through the back here. This takes him to Criteria. But he would need to go across Criteria to get back to Red Tower. The Turia portal is known, yes. It's in Red Tower at the tube. So everything else that Beamer needs is in Red Tower. Just needs to make his way there, go to East Meridia, and then go to the top, which is where East is, and then head his way back to the bottom to finish up in Turian. But more than likely, these crabs will get him to the full power bombs. That is a benefit of coming this way. So, Anfunny finally found this plasma beam that he did not need, but is still pretty nice. You don't have to worry about your ammo anymore. And again, I do still expect, given the power bombs that we know about, getting Varia is easier than getting all three of those. So I expect Anfunny is going to find this Varia suit here sooner rather than later. Upper Norfair is pretty much the only place he's got left to go, unless he wants to just go into Wreck Ship from the back, which is an option. He knows it's not Ridley, so that is places that the Varia suit could be. He's trying to figure out where he wants to go. I'm guessing that because he literally just came out of the portal, he realized he wanted to farm. So he's coming back here, which is totally cool. He doesn't really need to farm, given he has speed, so he can take the easy path. He could just go all the way to the bottom here. He'd be in the left side of Business Center, and then he could take the Speedway. And, there's plenty of farm there, if you do speed first or things like that. So sometimes you just see something and you do it. Don't necessarily know that this was, the best use of his time. But he'll be perfectly fine in any situation. So Beamer is gonna have to damage down here quite a bit. I would actually, funnily enough, I would go into Upper Norfair right here and take off my Varia suit just to damage down. Yeah. But I guess the Metroids are probably better, actually. You just take off your suits, they'll do 90 a pop. Metroids, Mocktroids.
Yeah, quick question from chat, by the way. Is the Torian portal known already? Yes, it is Brinstar Tube.
So yes, this is one of those area randomization changes. Those power bomb blocks are just bomb blocks. There were some weird situations with kind of one-way doors where if you have just the ability to break bomb blocks with bombs or screw attack, you could traverse this from right to left, but not left to right. I think that was the reason that initially the Varia randomizer ended up making that change. We just kind of carried it over here. I know, not necessarily the favorite option of some people, but it mostly is irrelevant, frankly, but it is just a little thing about the randomizer here. And see, Mock Troys were definitely much faster than going in that door. So yeah, you're gonna see this Crystal Flash clip. I believe it's a 2-frame window when you have bombs. I don't know how to do this, so I can't tell you all the specifics, but all I know is that people say this is much easier than the suitless method, but you do only have 4 tries here with only 15 max power bombs. And he only needed 3. Great job by Beamer. So with the Crystal Flash animation, it basically puts you in a stand-up once it's over, and that gives you just enough vertical height to end up on top of those crumble blocks, and that is how you skip needing either Speed Booster or the Ice Beam. Yeah, Anfunny is going to come right here to his various suit, but being a full boss behind and having done the boss that is closest to Turian already, where Beamer is doing that one last. Beamer's lead here is pretty substantial again. All of Croc plus that unfortunate gauntlet reset. Time that Anfunny really didn't have to give in this seed, as Beamer's route was efficient enough that he's gonna have a pretty decent time here. Probably gonna tick right around the 1 hour 102 mark, something like that when it's all said and done. He doesn't have any Zeb skip. That's one of those funny little quirks. The Batsun access items are also both of the ways that you can Zeb skip, but we do have plenty of ammo plus a very powerful beam, so no worries on that front. Just gonna have to miss all those Zebs, as well as Powerball the Metro. So yeah, actually probably closer to 103, 104. If I had to guess here. The final boss here for Beamer is Ridley. 24 shots with this beam. The supers are a little bit better DPS, so we'll see how many of those he elects to use. So far, starting out very, very nicely handling these. Yeah, Anfunny with that various suit in tow, gonna hopefully not check any more items because he needs absolutely nothing, and then just make his way through the rest of the game while Beamer finishes things up here. Very interesting race here, given all of the diverging paths. Those late power bombs did definitely give them more opportunities to go different places, considering the outstanding portals in different locations, as well as gravity suit early, giving us the ability to traverse many different areas where without that gravity suit, especially West Meridia, a lot less accessible.
Absolutely.
There's boss number 4 down for Beamer. Ridley is no more.
Bye-bye.
Anthony's headed down to Ridley's lair, where he is going to find the Dragon boss. So yeah, we had a double swap here today. Crate and Fantoon switched places, and so did Ridley and Dragon. Space jump showing lots of its value here in the East Meridia. This is how the game does expect you to come back through this area. And yeah, he just has to go out the front, end up in Red Tower, and make his way to the tube. He has seen that portal. He's seen every portal, actually, I'm pretty sure, except for, I guess, Crocomire. He never saw that, which makes some sense. And then a little bit of a trek. Anfunny should be out of Lower Norfair and probably in the wreck ship, while Beamer's headed towards Mother Brain. And Anfunny did end up keeping that X-ray scope, so it does have the ability to microwave this boss if he so desires. He's also charging out these sparks, but yeah, he just wants to sit Dragon down with a nice little plasma X-ray action. If anyone has never seen this before, basically, because Plasma Beam pierces through enemies, it can hit multiple times. Normally, this is mitigated by there being like a cooldown or basically iframes where the enemy isn't able to be damaged. But those iframes still tick away when X-Ray is active, so you just activate X-Ray and basically expire those iframes, and that lets you hit most enemies multiple times with the charge plasma shot. Doesn't work on enemies that they expect you to have the plasma beam for, like Ridley, for example, doesn't get pierced, and then the microwave also doesn't work on GT, for example, but basically every enemy before that, they do not expect you to have plasma beam for, so it has some odd effects, which you see in vanilla speedruns in the GT classic categories or anything that does the GT code, and then also here in Randomizer because the items are randomized, so plasma can be anywhere. It can be the first item you pick up.
Yeah, very interesting routing by Anfunny again. Just first official game crack of it. I know he's been practicing some dash rando, but this one opened up pretty early, DJ, and the fact that we didn't have power bombs for about 20 minutes, I wonder how much that played into some of the decision making as well. Again, like you and I have talked about, I wouldn't have gone for some of the majors, the minors either, which took away some time. But still, overall, really nice race from both racers here, but Beamer's looking to clean things up. Folks, let's get some housekeeping out of the way with !R on the Twitch chat to give the racers a follow. !C to follow the commentary and tracking teams. And coming up on September 26th and 27th, 2025, right here on Speedgaming, I'll be teaming up with them to run Metroids for Charity, which is a charity Metroid marathon that I'm holding with Speedgaming. And we are going to have some real fun raising money for a charity called Safer in Our World, which is a charity that supports mental health with gamers and for everybody. More information about that coming in the coming weeks.
Yeah, and depending on how our bracket stage of the tournament works out, there's a chance we're going to be right around the end of this tournament as well at that time. So it should definitely be a very, very fun month of September there. With our group stage takes place here during the month of August. We've had lots of fun and exciting races thus far. I'd probably say we are between a fourth and a third of the way through all of the races here. Beamer is electing to baby skip. He did need to refill his health, so getting baby skip is still faster because you don't have to go through the animation of everything. But he also doesn't have the speed booster, so may not be comfortable with high jump only versions of the baby skip, but could have elected to try, but we are going to refill the health, and then after that everything will be comfy, cozy, easy. Did have to show off the powerbomb method of killing the Metroids. On the technical level of things, Metroids have 500 health. Supers do double damage, that's why one super kills them, otherwise it's 5 missiles. And then for power bombs, they actually do half damage, so only 100 per hit, but you can double hit, as Anfunny does. Back up that crate quick kill here. That is boss number 4 for him. Again, he just has to make his way back to Red Tower, which isn't too bad. Like I said, you can go single chamber to Red Tower, and that'll put you at the top, close to where East Meridian was. So this is really only going to be somewhere in the realm of like 4 or 5 minutes difference here, given that Anfunny's Turian will be significantly faster, having both ice and speed. So good race here. As far as the overall tournament is concerned, Beamer is the 10 seed in the tournament, and Anfunny is the 23rd seed. So in a standard 32-person tournament, this would be a round 1 matchup. Basically how our pools are set up, it's like that, where you have like little 4-person pods of like a 32-person bracket, and that's how the pools work. And then once we progress to the bracket, people get split up, so there won't be rematches unless 2 people from a group both end up all the way in the finals. You shouldn't see any rematches, and that would be one of the most unlikely things in like any tournament ever. So have a nice little progression here. Other 2 members of the group, like I said, are myself and Ike here. So Beamer definitely holding serve so far as the higher seed. Gonna take game 1 here, barring some absolute catastrophe involving like several triple hit catch-ups, which is hard to do when your beam is this strong and you're probably only gonna get 1, maybe 2 catch-ups. So He also doesn't have the ability to do stand-up when he tanks short, so no soft block potential there. Anfunny taking a different route here, going through West Meridian instead of going through North Fair to end up in the bottom of Red Tower. But we'll be in Red Tower here shortly enough. Mother Brain 2 is dead on Beamer's side, and he's just going to be sitting here for a little bit before the third phase begins. So yeah, I think Anthony's going to be at Mother Brain or close to it when Beamer ends up touching the ship. So very, very, like I said, good showing from both of them. And hopefully we'll have an exciting second game here. We are running this back-to-back for you, so definitely stay tuned, see how these races end up. And we do have one other matchup going on today. It's like 10 hours away, or maybe 9.5, something like that. So I know there's plenty of action here on the Speedgaming Flame Networks, but we do have another race to bring you here on this Saturday. Had a bit of a hiccup yesterday. We had 2 series scheduled, and neither of them actually ended up playing due to, real life sometimes does stop us from playing video games every now and then. I know it's definitely not my favorite thing when you have, other obligations, but, with the, flexibility of the group stage, we'll still be able to see every, matchup happen.
You got that right.
Actually, given how close this has ended up, I'm curious to know how this would have gone if, for example, Anfunny had just, been able to keep that ice beam for the first time, because it'd be real close. Definitely, like I said, Anfunny a bit newer, and one of the things when you're newer, especially in a scene that's been around for as long as we have, 8 years ago was the first Super Metroid Randomizer tournament, and there's at least one person in this tournament that I know of, which is Sloters, who has been competing since 2017. You have a lot of catching up to do, both raw movement-wise as well as, game planning, strategy, things like that. And you also typically get put in situations where, especially in seeded events, if you're a lower seed, you have more difficult pathways through the tournament than, some of the higher, more established seeds. So it can kind of, put you in a situation where, you're getting better and playing a lot, and it takes a little bit while for, you got to make those upsets or, perform really well before, everything is truly reflective of how good you've gotten. And yeah, this is, like I said, absolutely nothing to sneeze at here. A very well run race. Just that little bit of that gauntlet hiccup is definitely a big portion of what has happened here, as far as the difference between the runners. And should be a very good game 2 as well.
Yeah, I expect Anthony to have a much stronger showing in game 2 here. I think he's going to learn from some of his mistakes here in game number 1 for sure. Again, minor item checks, the double gauntlet, we've talked about it quite a few times already. But still, overall, Anfunny at Mother Brain 2 as Beamer's on the escape. Still a really good rebound here from Anfunny, but Beamer, again, well known throughout the community, long-time runner. No surprise, Beamer here looking really good, and again, he's played these before. Looked really good in this one. Power bombs were an issue for both racers to get things started, but Beamer is going to take game number 1. Get your GGs in the Twitch chat.
Absolutely. So Beamer on the ship, official race time 1 hour 2 minutes 49 seconds. Anfunny does quickly enter in with the forfeit. It looks like he finishes out Mother Brain 2, or he just stands there. Maybe he dies. Who knows? But yeah, he is gonna elect to not finish this one. Being this close, I think I might have just said, "What the hey?" Might as well finish it out. But no,
agreed.
No sweat off your back in either case. So
yep. So DJ, we'll take a quick break. Racers have already started game number 2. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. Game 2 is back in about 3 minutes.
Absolutely, yes. So we will be back with you in just under 4 minutes. Get up, stretch those legs, get a drink of water, whatever you need.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, however you identify, welcome back. WXFan21 and DJ Webb hanging out with you, doing commentary for these fine people. All right, DJ. Game 1, taken by Beamer. I mentioned it at the end. I expect Anfunny to bounce back here. What are you looking for from these racers here in game number 2?
Yeah, definitely interested to see. Like we said, Bomb Gauntlet is very difficult, and that was one of those things. Taking all that damage, it hurt Anthony. Had to reset and ended up going back for that ice beam. But otherwise, pretty solid run. He was, only like 3-ish minutes away from finishing when Beamer hit the ship. So, if he can clean up a little bit, and maybe if the power bombs don't elude us for quite as long, have a little bit easier, decisions, not isolating portals and things like that. And it should be, hopefully another very, very good race here between our runners. These are, within the group, this is the 2nd and the 3rd seed, and they showed that, still, pretty closely matched here. So, especially if you're as Anthony looking to, potentially make that upset and get out of the group stage to the bracket stage, it is top 2 advance. You do definitely want to take that game, at least one, off of one of the top 2 seeds here, Beamer, and, see how everything else shakes out. It is the case with this being one of the pools where, myself and Beamer were the 7 and the 10 seeds, so obviously that's extremely closely seeded. Amphi and Ike here are 23 and 26, so, not a lot of separation there between those 2 groups, so definitely should be able to, if Anthony already had that good of a race with, Beamer here, expect that to be the case as well with, both myself and I here as well. So we could have lots of good races here in this group.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yes.
All right. So one thing we didn't really get a chance to mention at the start. This is going to be Morph Ball, either Morph Ball or Taco Tank. The reason for that being is that because of how these particular settings are set, it has to be one of those 2 locations. We're not doing anything super crazy where you're going to have to mandatory jump, CWJ, get a moat, go find somewhere else. No, we don't do that in the standard settings. So it has to be in one of the 2 major locations in Retro Brand. It's got to be over at Morph or at Taco Tank.
Yeah.
And so far, it's vanilla.
In other randomizers, it was basically a late. There was an early morph setting, which put it in one of the first 2, and then there were potential for late morph where it could be other places. As we do have a nice item here in the ceiling, we got that screw attack. See if we have a double missile start again, or if we end up with one of the other miners here at the other side. But we do have a very nice item here early, the screw attack, as well as some super missiles. So already with a bit more optionality than we started the other seed with. And once again, our runners will have to go to the top. We do have the ability to check Old Mother Brain this time already. And see what our runners do elect to do here. Adam is going to very quickly remember that number 1, he doesn't need to be live streaming in Discord, and number 2, that pushing those buttons is on him this race. So Morph Ball and Screw Attack will pop up there for you on the screen very quickly.
That Tracker's a real jerk. No, I'm kidding. That's right. I mean, if you don't want me to screen share my maps with you, fine.
Yeah.
Hurt my feelings. I see how it is. I'm only kidding, DJ. Yes, I'm on tracking for game 2 again because DJ and I don't have a tracker. We split game 1 and 2. DJ tracked game 1. I'm tracking game 2. If I've missed something, please let me know. I've got multiple trackers up here. So good climb tower from both racers. And now we head to good old Bomb Chorizo. We need some sort of explosives. He'll have power bombs or bombs.
Now we got screw attack.
I was just getting there that it could be Gauntlet. Anthony's favorite place from game number 1.
Yeah, Gauntlet would be quite a bit easier this seed with the screw attack in tow.
That's right. We also got Terminator we can get through.
Yeah, we can go left to Terminator to 2 portals. We've got supers already to go to the right for 2 portals. Just the major is, possibly it is accessible with just a screw attack. Can't get to the back yet without bombs or power bombs. So unlikely that I think we'd see either runner do Gauntlet right now. And, yeah, happened both in game 1 and game 2. Anfunny just a little bit faster here in the early portion of the siege. Like you said, he has been dabbling a little bit in the any percent in the GT Classic, and was notified in chat that Beamer hates vanilla. So definitely here in the early game where pretty much you're doing vanilla movement and very close to vanilla item sets. We do have that screw attack, but that even doesn't make too much of a difference here. So very close to vanilla execution in the early going. As we found the back of East Meridia, we're not going to do anything with that. So we'll see what the other portal is here on the left side of Criteria. Could be in a similar situation like we were last seed, where we could get over here and not do anything, and we got to go back to the right. So once again, I do have that option to maybe look at Gauntlet. Like I said, a little bit less likely, but given that you're only able to do the major anyway, you would want to front to front it regardless to go to the right. So maybe somebody decides to do it, but
reduce the Gauntlet.
More than likely, we are going to be headed over to the right side of Criteria. We got a super door that locks access to what I believe some people call the corkscrew room, and then you can go down there and head to a new area transition, see where it decides to take us. But once again, a little bit on the powerbomb hunt in this seed. It's not quite as long as the first one, but same situation, left Criteria, couldn't do anything, got to go over here to the right and see what the seed has for us.
Alright, chat. What do we got happening here? Oh, he's doing it.
We're doing it. Same exact little difference here.
Anfunny
says yes to Gauntlet. Beamer says
he really likes Gauntlet, and Beamer says, I really don't want to go to Gauntlet. I'd rather check these doors. And Criteria Crab Door is gonna be up in Norfair, lower Norfair. Where are we going? Red Bryn.
Oh, oops.
Anfunny, please.
He did a nice job breaking spin to not break those, lower blocks, and then he decided to break them anyway.
I see.
No ice beam this time, just another tank. But it is possible that you need that tank. We did not find power bombs here, so we only have access to one more portal right now. It is the top elevator here in Red Brinstar, and if that is specifically single chamber, you would need that energy tank logically to be able to make your way through there, and then that would get you basically into Bubble Mountain for what would have to be power bombs. That would be the only thing logically accessible to them, but that is a possibility. And I have played a seed where the seed did literally require you to use the screw attack to go to Gauntlet to get a second E-tank to do that hull run. So
yeah,
it is extremely unlikely, but possible that we did need to do that.
You were saying?
So the thing about that...
Croc Speedway.
Wait a minute. Oh my goodness.
Croc Speedway is logic.
So this hell run to Bubble Mountain is only one tank. But you can't do anything in Bubble Mountain because we don't have bombs or power bombs. Beamer's going to figure this out. What the seed wants you to do is to refill your energy and take the 2 tanks to the chronic boost door. And that is where the seed will let us progress. So Anfunny didn't check that miner and doesn't know that there aren't power bombs. And hopefully both of our runners figure out relatively quickly that that is what the seed wants from them, because it is literally the only possible path forward. I do prefer what Beamer did as far as checking the miner before the portal, because rather, like, if you literally have to go through that portal, you'd rather know, versus coming back down here. That's 3 elevator rides instead of 1. So yeah, Beamer he died, which was good because that was by far the fastest way back to the ship. He's just gonna come do this gauntlet. Honestly, I think if I was in Beamer's shoes, I would be expecting bombs here so that you could A, go to the back and get miners, and B, also do things in Bubble Mountain. but that's not the case. So worse start than the first seed, frankly, because number one, the chronic boost of the 3 portal hole runs from Bubble Mountain is the hardest. And you can't save in Bubble Mountain because you don't have access to that door. So the only save available is the one that Anfunny just did there in Red Tower, and it's a little bit of a long sequence if you end up resetting. So
I can't believe we got to go all the way to chronic boost, which again is just
attack.
That's really tough to go all the way chronic boost right now. It really is.
Yeah. So what you would want to do here, I think I actually wouldn't take this refill. I would just do a little bug refill there at the croc bugs, and then you're gonna go, take that right door and then bottom door, and then you're gonna want to farm again in that little purple tower farm room. But yeah, Anfunny checking Gauntlet. Honestly, it really would have worked out in both seeds if he had just been able to keep that ice beam, but especially here in the second seed, you needed that E-Tank. And he's taken quite a lead here in this early going. And yeah, I think Beamer, should know that he absolutely has to be doing this. Anfunny. He does have to figure this out. Like I said, it is not the most straightforward solution here, and hopefully he remembers that there is, another farm that is closer to that door.
He just wanted to farm. Okay, hold chat. Here we go. I mean, chronic boost right now is literally the only way. You can't get through there, Anfunny. This isn't map rando. Anfunny, please. You have X-ray. Please don't X-ray climb up Bubble Mountain. This ain't map rando.
He's got the path forward here. Ooh, as Beamer gets unfortunately grabbed by that Vile Plume. Yeah, this is gonna put you closer to where you need to be, and also get that farm up so your health is good. And yeah, I was gonna say screw attack, it mitigates a little bit of the difficulty of this hell run, but yeah, I do very much like this strategy. Kill those little bugs with missiles, and make it real safe. And then yeah, even got a little bit of farm on those little flame projectiles from whatever those magma enemies are called. And this looks like Green Brinstar. Yeah.
Yep.
So once again, we're probably going to get our first power bombs here, but it was a little bit more difficult to get here this time. So we also don't have regular bombs. So all we have available to us is the 2 miners there in Big Pink, whatever this portal ends up, and then you can use Screw Attack to get over to the Brinstar Reserve area. So a little bit of a funny start. Oh yeah, and then this is the 3rd miner, but just a missile again. The power bombs they're not gonna come fast and furious. They're gonna, slow burn.
Did you randomize enough power bombs today or what?
I am not the admin that is in charge of randomization. That's Kupo, the dev. So direct.
Way to throw Kupo under the bus.
Yes, direct all questions specifically to Kupo. He's handcrafting every tournament seed to be as strange as possible. That's how it's been a little bit like that, frankly, in these tournament seeds. We've had, a few that have been, a little bit more standard fare. We had an extreme jet seed earlier on Thursday, not in my series, but it was a 44-minute time there. But otherwise, we've had some weird and wonky maps. This is definitely amongst the weirdest and the wonkiest. And then there's our power bombs.
But no, anyway, make sure, folks, to give a shout out to DJ and Kupo, our amazing admins for this tournament.
So, yes, Anfunny could have saved a little bit of time power bombing that door on the way down, but he's fine. Here into Green Brinstar, now we've got access to the 4 of the 5 major items, and then we also have access to, like, everything else in existence. We can go down Red Tower, we can check out the moat in the meme route portals and criteria. We've got the ability to actually get into the rest of Bubble Mountain. So those power bombs, they were locking everything in this seed, which is typically, it's funnily enough, depending on how the map lays out, you actually very don't need power bombs for a lot of the seed. But if the doors are how they are in this one, you definitely need them to be able to progress forward. So we're gonna get a little bit more healthy here. 4th energy tank for our runners, and then see what the left side of Green Brinstar holds for us. And no super early charge beam this time, so do expect our runners will be wanting to collect those as well. Anfunny elected to collect a lot more than Beamer did last seed. So see what we get here. Seed number 2 already starting out a little bit, difficult for our runners. Thankfully, both with that screw attack and, just handling the hell runs very well. Neither runner ended up taking a bad death there in Chronic, but so to see how things handle from here. But Anfunny is in a little bit of a lead here. He's exercised, having done that gauntlet right away.
And more
Yeah.
E. DJ, let me know when I actually get to track something.
Yeah, 2 items right away, and then it's been like 10 minutes since given the
I don't know
traversal of
just
Upper Norfair.
let me know when I get a track is all I'm saying. It's really all I'm saying. I'm hanging out, having a good time, relaxing, doing a load of nothing. Looking at my fantasy football rankings, trying to figure out who I want from 30 to 40. And I'm over here just hanging out, relaxing, having a good time.
Well, I was going to say, hopefully the seed will give our runners some relaxing options, because right now it's giving us a bunch of E, which is making me think that, maybe they're just going to go right back into Norfair. We did see the middle portal here was lower Norfair. We're not going to do anything with that right now. We're going to have 3 power bombs very quickly here. Like we said last race, it took Beamer quite a bit to end up finding his 3rd power bomb so he could finish it up with a Crystal Flash clip. But power bomb under the bridge +1 back here in the
I can track something!
Yes, space jump. So took us a while to get that third unique item, but yeah, we got some pretty good movement here. Already space jump and screw attack. So we end up back in Red Tower. Extremely easy X-ray check. No D-boost necessary. No,
I feel like space jump screw attack is so underrated in speed runs. Especially when you're doing races like this and randomizers, I feel like it's very underrated. Think of how fast we can just fly through Gauntlet now. Think of how fast we can get through 3 Musketeers. We can get through some of the other tougher areas.
Yes, it's one of those things about the vanilla game design. You put the most powerful items there at the end of the intended sequence. Screw attack is the last item in the major progressive sequence there, hanging out all the way in lower Norfair. So makes sense that the in-game items are the ones that are really powerful. And one of the fun things about randomizers, or if you do certain things like GT Classic, where you get basically everything like a little over halfway into the run, you get to see those very powerful items and use them in areas where you don't necessarily typically see them. So we once again have the exact same portal here at Meme Route to the top of Green Brinstar. So yeah, we are headed back into Norfair in some shape. We'll see what our runners want to do. You can make your way to Business Center pretty easily with that space jump. I think it's a little bit difficult. You can either use that Crocomire door to get back into Red Tower, like I was talking about, 2 major items and easy 4 portals there, or you could elect to go to Business Center. You probably do want a gate glitch and just take that Spiky Acid Sakes Tunnel, I think is the name of that room. One of my favorite little knowledge tidbits. It has no acid, it's lava, so I don't know why that's the name of it, but it's a fun little room name there.
So taking a look here at the map, it looks like it's Croc Speedway to Moat to Criteria Crab Hole to Red Tower. Fun.
You could also elect to do some of those hard runs I was talking about. 5 tanks is a decent amount, and plus space and screw, especially together, kind of mitigate any difficulty you would have with like any of the hell runs or traversing Bubble Mountain itself. So I wouldn't mind that play either. It is 3 items that you could get here. We do also have the Crystal Flash, so you don't necessarily, if you don't get a refill from an E-tank, you are able to still, move forward with relative ease and speed. It is a missile over there, and Anfunny is at least hanging out here for a little bit, you could elect to do any of these items. You could also elect to just want to look at that single chamber portal. You have lots of options here, but he looks like he's going to Speed Booster, so...
Do we know what the logic is to place Varia in Upper Norfair? Is it 5 combined tanks? Because I feel like we've seen 5 tanks a lot, or 4 tanks in a reserve to get Varia.
So for items in the Bubble Mountain Hell runs, the way it actually works, it is 3 E-tanks to get to the item and 4 E-tanks to get back. So technically you would only need 3 E-tanks to get Varia at any of them. It's a pretty low amount. Provided, of course, you can get to Bubble Mountain itself, which from the Hell runs is either 1 or 2 tanks, and then if you have to go through the cathedral, sorry, that's 4 tanks. So it's a pretty low amount. Which is why, basically, deciding to do Hell runs isn't necessarily about the logical implications. It's more, can you do them? And reward! We've got a gravity suit here. That's, again, gravity suit both being in Norfair and the first suit that we've found thus far. Beamer actually electing to go through criteria to exit out of that little sequence. Will allow him to clean up that moat portal, and once again, he'll be in Red Tower after that if this moat portal isn't anything. Although, frankly, leading to Red Tower itself isn't that unlikely. But, yeah. Big divergence here, once again, between our runners, and Anfunny handsomely rewarded with this gravity suit. Potentially a very big find, especially depending on where this single chamber portal is. Could be a little bit difficult to get back to, depending on how Beamer's route works out. Of course, if you do get that Varia suit, that would make deciding to do these items, pretty easy and comfy. Anfunny is electing to manually farm up here everything. That looks like it's Main Street, and we know where the other side of that goes. It's the left side of Criteria, so yeah. Beamer's going to be exploring Red Tower here, almost certainly. And we'll get to see, the remaining portals as well as X-Ray and Spazer items. But if he's got a nice little advantage here with this very early gravity suit pickup, and yeah, like I said, Space Jump and Screw Attack by themselves make this check pretty free. Gravity as well to not only mitigate the lava damage entirely, but also make you walk through it normally. This is... basically, this goes from the worst Hell run to like just a sequence of a couple of rooms. I kind of despise this check. It has killed me many more times than I care to admit, as we get a useless double jump. We did also already have that space jump in this seed, but yeah, not going to have any challenges here, as Beamer's going to also utilize that space jump. Here comes major check 1 or 2 here in Red Tower.
Did Beamer check Red Tower door?
Yeah, it was back of East Meridia.
No, back of East Meridia was...
No. It was Turian. It was Turian. That's what it was.
Oh, thank you. That's
there's high jump boots. A nice find in its own right. Yeah, Anfunny. I'm surprised he's just, like I said, manually refilling his health. He's got 2 crystal flashes in tow, and that is much faster than, doing all that manual farming. It does, of course, take away those resources that you may want to use in other areas, depending on, where portals lead you. But farming is kind of slow. Having full of every resource does make it a little bit faster. But so, just a little bit of, do you want to do this or do you want to do that? But Anthony's got 1 item check here at the wave beam, and then that portal at single chamber. Almost certainly he can follow through that portal. It could be one of the dead ends, obviously, but basically, unless it's front of Lower Norfair, he'll be able to go elsewhere out of that portal. As we find a missile here, and 1 final major. This could be potentially a pretty big find. As Red Tower, high jump and speed, as if we needed more movement in this seed. That is really, really nice. That also, again, like I said, Upper Norfair Hell runs, they're pretty much always going to be in logic, but if you've got high jump, speed, space, and screw, that makes doing them like very comfortable and fast. So, depending on how accessible it is for him to get back in there, I don't think you would avoid them, for any particular reason. It's just kind of like a choice of, are these items things that I want to do right now? As we got another West Meridia portal here, the 3rd one that we found. Beamer. He could use high jump boost to get up through that room, and he could end up checking the Mama Turtle item, but otherwise he knows where those bottom portals are. As he's got a dead end, And we just found the last of the West Meridia portals. So, Anfunny, again, being very, health conscious here, keeping his health full via a variety of means. I think given the fact that I will be checking a major item here very soon, I would just kind of let that fill me up. And if it doesn't fill you up, it's a good item and you'd be fine with that. So, just a little bit of different strategies here. Beamer does want to kill this Crocomire here. He's got the very easy access to all of the items. Just another energy tank here. And Anfunny's actually going to be coming close to him right now if he elects to go through this tube and not come back. He doesn't know about that Main Street portal. And again, there is a major item there at Mama Turtle. So does Beamer want to stay? Walking suggests to me yes. Otherwise, you would want to run to that door to get there faster. And we'll see how Anfunny feels about Crocomire as well. At least is going to kill him for that first item. So Crocomire is going to teleport from your right screen to your left screen and lose all of his skin. Very cruel what we've done to Crocomire, just hanging out. He's just chilling at home. So, given actually where that single chamber portal led, Beamer will have a tough time getting back to Upper Norfair, at least on the right side. He does have speed, so when he finds the business center portals, does have that quick access from left to right. But it could be quite a while before he finds that gravity suit, and this E-Tank, not necessarily the reward you were looking for here, as Anfunny is also going to stay. Of the two, I would have expected if one of them was going to not do the second item, it would be Anfunny, more likely of the two, given already got that gravity suit. But the only time difference here in Crocomire is that Beamer's is going to be faster, given he had high open speed already. But otherwise, both are runners spending the time to do both items here in Croc, and depending on where Variasuit is, the reward here is of a varying amount. And again, Anfunny really likes these miners. He's up to 30 power bombs already. That is something. So, really are, well on our way to a potential Variasuit skip if we can find a non-vanilla Ridley. And here's our first opportunity to do so. We've got the first boss area that a runner saw and could really do anything with. The wrecked ship is here. Between our runners, we do have both the gravity suit and the speed booster, and I do expect Anfunny collects that speed sooner rather than later here, and that would allow East Meridia to be easily accessible. But it is, again, that back portal. We'd rather find the front. And basically, all of our information left is over in Business Center, which is somewhat troublesome for Beamer, I want to say. Although he will basically be able to just kind of do all of Upper Norfair at once he does get there. But yeah, we're going to see this wreck ship boss. If it's specifically Dragon, that's kind of bad for Beamer, given that Anfunny is really right here and would be able to do it.
Dragon.
Ooh, that is rough.
Yep, it is Dragon. In fact, I just had a feeling. When you said it, based on the the item progression that we have, you've got that gravity, you got high jump, you got speed. The item progression was just saying Dragon, and I don't know what the time difference is between the transitions of the bosses, but that one seemed like it was Dragon. Either way,
I do think Dragon takes longer to appear than Kraid, but I don't know that for certain. Haven't timed it.
Either way, yeah, Beamer was going to most likely go out and check wreck ship right door. This would be even worse if it was Aqueduct.
Yeah, I do agree with coming here and checking this portal. It could be Kraid and it could be required, frankly.
Yep.
But that would also kind of be bad. I mean, it would be bad if that was the case for Beamer, unless it gave him like specifically grapple beam. But if this is like Crate Slayer with Ridley, for example, like this could go from bad to worse like pretty quickly. And,
could also be Lava Dive, which would also be bad as well.
Yeah. Although frankly that knowledge would be maybe, I mean, I think the knowledge of this being like Lore and Warfare is probably worth the time, specifically for Beamer here.
Oh yeah.
Even if you obviously can't do anything with it right now.
We already have the Three Musketeer knowledge.
Yep.
But still.
But yeah, knowledge-wise, we do just need to find Kraid here for our runners. That is. Oh, and he is rewarded here. Yeah, so this was definitely best case scenario for Beamer. He needed to find his way here. Ooh, and that means Kraid is at the front of Lore and Warfare.
So we know top of Red Bryn is Croc Speedway then?
Yeah, we went there a long time ago.
Okay. I wasn't sure what it was, so... Oh, that's bad, chat. That's so bad. It's the Kraid one way, which means we're going through Lower Warfare twice.
Yeah, so Variasuit just got a lot more valuable in this seed. Neither of our runners knows that yet because Beamer doesn't know that single chamber goes to the top of West Meridia, and obviously Anfunny hasn't been to this back portal yet. There's Spring Ball. Not very useful in this seed, given that Beamer is almost certainly headed towards Gravity once he gets done with this business center portion of Upper Norfair. And for Anfunny, it's kind of awkward because, you know, there are things in front of him Rexship-wise. There's that portal, which again, you do kind of want to check because it could be Kraid, which would be required. But like Mama Turtle's kind of getting farther away behind him, and High Jump and Speed are both in Red Tower, and those are really good. And as well, you know, he doesn't know about the Main Street portal, which is that final criteria outstanding portal. So a little awkward for both of our runners here, quite frankly. And yeah, once you know, they both have all of the knowledge here of the seed and the portal layout. Skipping Varia is still possible, especially in a world where Ridley specifically isn't vanilla. Even at Kraid's lair, that's not the worst place for Ridley. But it is extremely difficult to pull off a back to front to back Lore and Warfare without Ridley. You have to be very cautious of your resource management. We do have a bunch of power bombs, which is helpful, but would not be my preference. I would want Variasuit here, you know, come whatever it may take, you know, which could include checking, you know, some of those slower majors that a lot of runners tend to favor skipping, you know, like Top of Rexship, even Shack Tool and Plasma, things like that. So we'll see how long it takes. Beamer pretty likely to end up getting the rest of the map knowledge that he'll need once he clears out Bubble Mountain, gets this gravity suit here, and then finds out that the top of West Meridia links to single chamber. He's going to do a little bit of farming here again. He has every movement item, so he doesn't really need to do all this farming, plus the ability to Crystal Flash. So just, you know, getting those resources up.
Maybe he wants some power bombs. Because it
is always
be farming.
It's valuable to, you know, be keeping your resources, you know, higher, especially those super missiles. You don't know when you're going to run into the areas where you need to use them, so having them is better than not having them, and Crystal Flashing does take that away, but
it's just such a low drop right here.
Resource management versus time, it's, you know, one of those skills that, you know, part of Randomizer, and different people like to handle things differently.
Of course. Now Beamer's going to get Gravity. Anthony's got the save.
So he is going to be checking out this item here, the Rexship E-Tank, as well as the portal. I expect he will check out Business Center. And again, it's awkward because if he just had Speed Booster already, he could just do East Meridia, which he's going to find when he gets over into Business Center. But unless this is Ice Beam specifically, that's going to be a little bit inaccessible for him. And I don't know about Anthony's Crystal
Nice
Flash
wave.
clip ability, but double beam here. Beamer has the ability to just reset this item, so I'm surprised he's both sticking out the fanfare and electing to lose his health and get out of here. But he also shot a super somewhat in frustration.
Mm-hmm. So this is the route. Anfunny's gonna go. You go into Wreck Ship, beat Dragon. You leave out the back of Wreck Ship, head to Business Center, go into Aqueduct, beat East Meridia, go back to Upper Norfair, go into Lower Norfair via Three Musketeers, loop through Lower Norfair to go to Kraid's Lair, reroute back, go back out through Three Musketeers, head to Red Bryn, Tutorian.
Yes, again, that is all predicated on the ability to get through East Meridia. Like I said, I don't know necessarily how comfortable he is with CF Clip. He does also literally only have 10 current supers, and he has to use 2 of them to get in and out of here. Plus, he's got to open some doors, so he won't necessarily be able to Crystal Flash super conveniently. And also, if you have like no supers, Batoon's terrible. So it's a little bit of an awkward situation. Frankly, he might just reset back to Wreck Ship, and I don't think that would be the worst play after he gets, which is I believe is Spring Ball and just an E-Tank here.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean he would lose Wave Beam, and of course Spring Ball, but I think I would rather be in Red Tower right now compared to this portion of the map. Which again, it's a little bit unfortunate because if he had done those first, which it makes sense that he didn't. He came into Tube, he found Croc, he did that, and then you're just in, Wreck Ship, and it's like, well, might as well, boss area, chance I can kill the boss and get some items here, which was the case. But, yeah. Speed Booster is really good if you were not aware out there in viewer land. So yeah, a boss up for Anfunny, but in a little bit of an awkward spot, whereas Beamer, he already having that high jump and speed booster, he's going to find this portal to Redfish. He will very conveniently just be able to check the Mama Turtle item, and if that's good, he'll be fine. Otherwise, he has the ability to just run back to where progression seems pretty likely to be, which would be East Meridia. Actually, I mean, it's East Meridia or it's Top of Wreck Ship. Those are like our only outstanding locations. And he does need to kill that Wreck Ship boss, so that's somewhat awkward because they're both kind of right there for you. But you can just like front to front east and then use west, use that to traverse back through Wreck Ship. But yeah, really, a little bit of a, funky situations. Once again, obviously the start of here was a little bit strange, and then because Anfunny doesn't have those Red Tower majors already, he's in a somewhat difficult spot here in this portion of the map. So yeah, Beamer definitely makes sense. That should be the last bit of information he needed to put together the rest of the map, where Kraid is at the front of Lower Norfair. And then, yeah, be able to get this Mama Turtle checkout standing, which has the potential to be extremely valuable. He also skipped a few of those miners in Upper Norfair, so he doesn't have quite the power bomb surplus. I also know he didn't get a missile that was right in front of his face at the speed booster hallway, but just an energy tank here. Both of our runners are at 10.
Hooray!
Anfunny is going to go ahead. Yep, he's going to come in here. Probably going to look at left sandpit. Again, Crystal Flash Clip would get him to Batoon, but it would be a terrible Batoon fight because you'd have 23 missiles and 6 supers. And then if it's Ridley back there, you would basically have to completely farm the full supers, which would be terrible. But yeah, I think Beamer is going to be coming back. He's probably also going to be going to East Meridia right now. I think that's the most logical place for him to go next. So yeah, we'll see what this item is. Essentially very big, especially, Ice Beam would get Anfunny through this Batoon hallway, and Plasma. Pretty good item.
Just you gotta love that Plasma Beam.
But we haven't yet found that Charge Beam. So, interested to see what Anfunny will do from here. This Beamer is yeah, this is Croc Speedway more than likely to go back and end up in East Meridia. It's a little bit awkward here because, like I said, I would be playing this extremely thoroughly right now and just saying I'm going to get Varia, you know, come what may. And that means that when you elect to do the majors here in East Meridia is a little bit wonky. Anfunny is farming up here. If he is looking at Suitless CF, it's unfortunate because he wants his supers, but his health is going to be completely full. Where Beamer is just going to be running through those blocks as the developers intended. So yeah, big point of contention here is what's in East Meridia could put Beamer back in a more advantageous situation here. And like I said, it is pretty likely that Varia suit is here.
It's probably post-bot to an E-Tank, but... No Crystal Flash clip for Anfunny.
Yep, it is the more difficult version. He would have to do the suitless Crystal Flash, not like Beamer last time with the bombs. So it does look like Anfunny just wanted all of his resources. He's gonna re-traverse Upper Norfair, more than likely do that Mama Turtle check he didn't do the first time he was in West Meridia, and then he'll be able to find his way back into Red Tower, and that'll get him high jumping speed. And then he has to come all the way back through Upper Norfair, or go through Wreck Ship to get to East Meridia. That or do it from the back. Neither of which are the greatest options, so... Things have definitely taken a turn against Anfunny, despite that early gravity suit pickup. And also, if you're keeping track of time, we're 40 minutes in. Anfunny's killed 1 boss and Beamer's killed 0, so this is definitely a longer seed that we're seeing here today.
You know, DJ, I never quite understood this Meridia map. You think about this logically. You're in Aqueduct, you're going below Aqueduct to a pit. Somehow you get to a sand hall, you go all the way to the left, and you're somehow back and by Aqueduct. It just doesn't make sense.
Yes, as far as the map is concerned, it is very much not how it is supposed to work. It was one of those things for area randomization. You either have all of Meridia being one place, which is absolutely ginormous, or you do what we did, which is loop East Meridia on itself. That way it's a more contained area. Balance-wise, I do like this option more, but
yeah,
it is definitely wonky how it works out.
Beamer will have a chance to overtake Anfunny here, but still, Beamer is still the boss behind.
Yeah, so honestly, the Varia location feels like Beamer's gonna find it first regardless, because if it's in East Meridia, he's the one that's already there. No, this is an E-Tank. Beamer showed us.
Post-bot mode is an E-Tank?
And if Varia is in Wreck Ship, Beamer's gonna have East Meridia done, and he's gonna be in Wreck Ship, and he's already got that speed booster, so he's gonna be more incentivized to do those other checks. As Anfunny didn't collect those missiles on the way down, says, "To heck with it, I'm just gonna keep going. Yeah. It's just a missile."
Yeah, no, and again, I meant bot to an E-Tank Varia.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, no, we knew.
Honestly, I think I would have picked that up, because you could have filled all of your energy, and yeah, he's now realizing that that could be Ridley, and he doesn't necessarily want to just go in there guns a-blazing. I mean, it's 8 tanks, and you definitely are capable of doing that, as Anfunny has found this door from Main Street to Moat. And yeah, he's going to take this as an opportunity to clean up Red Tower here, finally, once he is, in here at this Meridia escape door. He'll go down. Oh yeah, he also he doesn't know that the middle's Torian. I forgot about that part. So this is the final bit of information that he needs to, figure out the rest of the map.
Red light. Good call by Beamer.
So his energy is full. So 10 tanks is a very big surplus. Yeah, funnily enough, Anthony does know that that is a one-way. He just doesn't know if it's Turian or Kraid. Either way, it's... I think, actually, he would very much prefer to be Kraid, given his knowledge. Both because it would give him at least one major item, and also because you would rather just finish with Lower Norfair instead of doing all of it and then retraversing it. But that's not the case this seed. Yes, and good pointing out in chat. One less Vario location. It is definitely not at Plasma Beam. So you don't have to worry about that. We did see Anfunny last seed actually go there despite the... you did have the same Ridley at East Meridia in both seeds here today. So,
Ridley needed a beach day.
Sometimes, you know, you get hot in Lower Norfair, you got to take a little dip into Meridia and cool off.
Absolutely.
So yeah, Beamer... I mean, we don't have access to Shack Tool yet, so Wreck Ship is the answer in one way or another. It could be Grapple or Ice 2 Shack Tool. And frankly, given the way that this seed has turned out, that feels like it's what's gonna happen. And yeah, I do think that's advantage Beamer. Because he hasn't had to do all of this extra retraversing that Anthony had. Just because he's finally going to get his speed booster 45 minutes in, where Anthony's had it for like 20 minutes.
Yep.
Very nice shooting out those blocks. And so yeah, because I do believe both of our runners do have the full map knowledge now, if I'm in Beamer's shoes, I'm just, like I said, I'm just getting Varia, which means you're full clearing this wreck ship. And he also literally doesn't have any items anywhere else. So yeah. We're gonna figure out where Varia is very soon here. It's either at the top of the wreck ship or we're gonna get Shack Tool access, and that's where it's gonna be. And given how many more power bombs Anthony has than Beamer, I don't think Beamer's even thinking about Varia skipping the seed. So he's almost certainly going to be acquiring it here. And again, given how thorough we're being, also somewhat likely that we are going to just end up finding the charge beam, which would make the ammo lead that Anthony has also not that relevant. So despite how it looked early, I do actually think Beamer is in the better spot here. Especially because the bosses are already evened up and Beamer is already here at this next boss. Where Anthony has to make his way to East Meridia, kill both bosses, and then, you know, get the news that whatever the seed wants, it's in wreck ship. Although, I have forgotten for the past literally 20 minutes, that there is another option.
What?
You know what that option is,
What?
Adam?
No.
It's Waterway. You got Speed Booster.
Oh, yeah.
And actually, with that in mind, Anthony was decently close to Green Brinstar there. No, wait, hold on. What am I saying? That's Waterway is literally right next to Lower Norfair, so you wouldn't go there first. You would go there last. You just have to hope that isn't the answer for specifically Shack Tool. But again, somewhat more likely that it just gives you Varia. But we'll see how this all works out. Beamer's going to get his ammo go mode here, I'm pretty sure. Beamer. Anthony. That's the person I meant to refer to.
60-50. That's close. 40-60 is the required. He doesn't have enough.
60-55 is enough. I think you either have to refill one door or it's exactly perfect ammo. Either way, you should probably refill at least one door.
Beamer taking a long time with the Stragon fight because he has to recharge here.
Yeah, if you're good at the spark kill, it's very fast. If you have a little bit of issue or you're worried about chain damage, it can definitely get a little bit spooky. And because he killed Batuin and Ridley not too long ago, you know, his ammo wasn't the highest, so no chain damage. Beamer is fine. Except he's got what, Spazer Wave and I think one tank here in his future, and then we're gonna be headed to bowling to see what it has in store for us. And yeah, Anfunny did pick up that reserve, which I kind of like. Yeah, refilling all of your health here, not difficult. It's getting super drops that is difficult here. We'll also note we haven't found bombs, which would be one of those things that would potentially make that various skip a little bit nicer, especially given how taxing it would be on our power bombs from a crystal flash standpoint. So yeah. I think you just find Varia in the seed, but Anfunny especially could elect not to. Especially given he probably doesn't necessarily want to retraverse Green Burnstar, or not Green Burnstar, Wreck Ship. So yeah, that's actually interesting, especially if Varia's at a waterway. That's probably advantage Anfunny, because he could elect to just skip out on this Wreck Ship stuff, you know, gamble on Varia being there or just not getting it, and it would probably work out, frankly. So, yeah, this race is still not over, for sure.
Anfunny clean Ridley so far, getting a little bullied, but still nicely done.
When you have 11 plus 1 and, you know, high jump speed screw, you kind of can take it pretty easy. Care. He entered with a bajillion supers as well, so... Here comes Wave Beam for Beamer. Wreck Ship can be a bit taxing on your resources here in his or low, but thankfully, you know, if he is going through Attic, he has, you know, a very good beam and screw attack to be able to kill the enemies with these, and he has a bunch of power bombs. That's not the issue, but the lower Norfair that's in his future would definitely, you know, he would want a bit more ammo than he currently has, although. Frankly, you only really need the super to open the door and enough power bombs, given you find the various suit, of course. So I'm interested, really interested to see how Anfunny handles this again. The, you know, safest play is to just, you know, kind of full clear Wreck Ship, but you could do something like save in Business Center, or actually no, you would save here in Aqueduct to save yourself the elevator transition multiple times, but Anfunny could, you know, have like a midway save here, something you see a lot more commonly in map rando, and like, you know, go to waterway if that's the answer. You're just right there at lower Norfair, and if it's not, you reset and you just do Wreck Ship if you don't want to skip Varia. But he's getting all of his resources back, so frankly, I think he would just try to skip Varia, which is at Wreck Ship Reserve.
Yep.
So.
Beamer is very low on resources.
Yeah. So he realized he had Spring Ball after laying that power bomb. I think Anfunny's gonna try to skip, and because it's back to front to back, it might be slow enough that he gets overtaken by Beamer, but it might also not be, because he's definitely gonna get there first. He's having a little bit of trouble with this short charge. He's gonna say, to heck with it, I'm just going through this way. Beamer also, I was talking about this, with the thoroughness of everything, charge basically would have to be at Shack Tool or Plasma for Beamer to not be able to get it with relative ease. Otherwise, he does need a little bit more ammo. He's been collecting a little bit less compared to Anfunny. So yeah. Like I said, still some intrigue here left. If Anfunny can pull off this Varia skip, he has a chance to be in a good spot here and potentially retake this lead. Is he going to go down the elevator? He is. So, I think you should go to Kraid first and do the lower Norfair boss last. I would be curious to see if other runners in the chat agree with that.
That's an interesting take.
because obviously the biggest thing is the reverse acid dive takes like a bajillion of your health, and so do that first when your resources are completely full, in my opinion. And then like the whole front to back sequence is like hard but doable, especially when you have all movement. And okay, where is Anfunny going? That's the question that I have. Because this is the top of West Meridia. This is not good for Anthony's chances to get back in this. He's actually, I mean, if he doesn't just go to Lower Norfolk right now, he's not even going to be in there first, and it's going to be harder. So this is unfortunately a little bit of a bundle here as far as, you know, potentially making a little bit of a comeback. I just don't know what he has outstanding that he could even be checking. Like, everything is Wreck Ship Attic or Waterway, and Waterway is right next to Lower Norfair. Maybe he forgot how to get there.
Free Aqueduct to Red Bryn to Wreck Ship? What is going on?
Yeah, either some mistracking or misremembering where portals were, but yeah, now all that, you know, intrigue I was talking about, he just kind of wasted like 2 minutes here, not going straight to Green Bryn Star, which he was very close to. And Beamer's just gonna have a much easier time with this Lower Norfair, having that various suit. Yeah, Beamer's like already here in Upper Norfair, so maybe Anthony enters Lower Norfair like, you know, 30-ish seconds ahead, but that's like nothing when you consider all the crystal flashes and amber resource management.
Both ahead of the Chronic Boost to get to Green Bryn, to get to Lower Norfair.
Yeah. Anthony just didn't go there right away.
Well, both racers are tied in terms of boss kills. Anfunny is ahead. Man, this is an interesting one. This is the fun area, Rando DJ.
Yeah, and there have definitely been races that have showcased that Various Skip isn't that much slower than Varia Lower Norfair if you know what you're doing and you you know, keep your resource management well. But that's
55 and 35 PBs.
Yeah, that is much more reserved for situations where you're back-to-backing. Yeah, no, this makes sense. You kind of have to do this.
Checking for Varia.
Yeah, you kind of have to do this. But that is going to make Beamer enter Lower Norfair first.
Yep, and that will put Beamer in the lead, and one of the things that may cost Anfunny this race.
Another energy tank for fun. That's actually kind of bad, frankly, because that's one less potential refill here in Lower Norfair. There's literally only one tank left in the game. That's an energy tank.
Get all 14, Anfunny, do it.
I mean, if he sees it, he's gonna pick it up, right? Like, unquestionably.
Beamer still hunting for ammo.
Yep, he needs the equivalent of 1 missile and 2 supers. He does have... he just picked up that miner. He's got the Peeves of Shame. He's got Mickey Mouse there on the way to the Crade's layer. Plus, he's got the Crade miner. It would be decently lucky if he actually got it in those, like, 4 miner checks, but certainly possible.
That's officially go mode for Anfunny. He's got now the required amount. 65-55. Nothing super tight about this now.
Nice Beam is definitely a nice pickup. Don't have to deal with Powerbomb Metroids or the more difficult Speed Zeb skip. Yeah, even with Varia, Beamer is actually doing the Crade boss first, which again, especially without Varia, I think it is the smarter way. And yeah, given his ammo situation, it also does make sense. He's got 1 super missile, and obviously Mini Crade will give you as many supers as you want to refill that or reload that rune.
Supers? Nope, just missiles. 55-45 for Beamer.
Oh, and
Anthony's gonna go for LN boss first.
yeah, I do overall think this is worse because your resources are completely full now, so you might as well, use that to reverse acid dive. Unless he's just saving here, but he did take a key hunter hit, which was completely unnecessary with screw attack and plasma in tow. But yeah, he's just doing this boss first. It's a little bit awkward because he was at like half health, and you don't want to damage all the way down to Crystal Flash, but you also he probably doesn't know if that's enough to make it through reverse acid dive. I do think it is, but it's tough, whichever way you slice it. Yeah, we're gonna see both bosses on screen at the same time, so we're gonna have a little fun on which one of these is Kraid and which one of these is Fantoon. But say, given that there's only one E-Tank, it kind of doesn't matter, but Fantoon down here for Anfunny would be kind of bad because there's definitely not an E-Tank behind Fantoon because there's nothing behind Fantoon, but there also probably isn't an E-Tank behind Kraid because there's literally only one left, and we have, 4 checks between... No, we've got Kraid, Screw Attack, and Kraid E-Tank. Actually, yeah, we only have 3 checks outstanding. That are no, there's also Shack 2 and Plasma. So
Anthony, you gotta be really careful.
Yeah, messing up that speed booster strat. Definitely not the greatest thing that could have happened to him. But it is Kraid behind Lower Norfair, so does have a chance to get that final energy tank and refill his health here. If you're gonna shoot these, you should be X-raying them. It does work without charging that shot, and given that you're in a hull run situation, that does freeze the heat timer. And obviously, real time, it's not necessarily better, but you're not taking damage while you're resetting those iframes. So,
I will say this for Anthony, or for Beamer, whoever finds it. Charge Beam could be one of the last 2 items here. Like, if Anthony finds Charge here, it's gonna make microwaving Fantoon, so the Fantoon can kill a lot faster. So this is gonna be very competitive. Regardless of how you slice this, it's gonna be extremely competitive in a close finish. Alright, Anthony's done with Kraid. We'll find a reserve. And Fantoon is angry.
Yeah, given how much Anthony's gonna have to do to make sure he survives this Lower Norfair and Beamer entering ahead, Beamer's definitely in the in the clear advantage here, but it's not gonna, like you said, I mean, it's gonna be close. Anthony can definitely do this. Just gotta be smart and be careful. Beamer's Fantoon definitely went a little bit off the rails there. There is, of course, that Lower Norfair refill. You were talking about that match the other night. Papa Schmo used that in a situation where I literally wouldn't have even thought to, and it was very, very advantageous and really clutch. So Anthony does have the ability to go there and refill his health if things get a little dicey here on the left side of Lower Norfair. Okay, is he going to get this speedball? Yes. Very nicely done. I do think Beamer checks this Kraid E-Tank. He kind of might as well. Charge is kind of better than searching out 2 supers at this point. He doesn't really have that many minors in his way. And because of how few items there are left. Well, there's that last E-Tank. So, probably for the first time in a very, very, very long time, we're going to see a randomizer player have every single E-Tank, because Anfunny kind of doesn't have any reason not to collect it. He is also going to be farming up power bombs here. I do also expect he's going to want to Crystal Flash in this room. When you're Crystal Flashing, you are still taking heat damage. So I believe it's like 1599 health that a Crystal Flash actually refills. So if you Crystal Flash in a heated room, you actually don't refill all of your health when you have this much. So it makes sense to Crystal Flash in this room. and actually get all of your health back. So yep, we got a reverse acid dive. If you shouldn't have any trouble, but as you can see, Beamer's gonna. I mean, they're gonna high five in this room, but Beamer has the various suit, which is making everything here much easier. No re-farming rooms, no saves necessary. That is an interesting strat. I've never seen anyone do this room quite that way. Yeah, the only hurdle Beamer has to overcome here is that he does need a couple more supers, and he's just got this one miner here. Probably he hasn't done the Croc Escape missile, but that's kind of not necessarily on the path forward, but you probably do go there because you need ammo. And then I expect he hasn't done beta PBs. He also hasn't done the second alpha PB miners surely, so probably he's in a fine spot to be good to go here. As long as he doesn't get like 6 power bombs or something insane. But yeah, Shock Tool, Plasma, and Screw Attack. Those are our 3 outstanding locations. One of them is Charge Beam, one of them is Bombs, and the other one is a Reserve Tank. Anfunny, once again, not being, he's being super cautious here as far as, his health and not wanting to go through rooms and potentially shamble, but he definitely had enough to make it through the lava dive room and not need to crystal flash here, but safe over sorry, that's fine. And Kraid's Lair is by far the best location to refill literally all resources. It has a missile refill, it has an energy refill. Mini Kraid gives you infinite supers, and the B-Toms will give you as many power bombs as you want. So it'll take some extra time because he did just drain 10 of everything, but he's in a good place to do that refill.
Beautifully done. Folks, if you're just tuning in, I'm WXFan21, joined by DJ Webb here on commentary. Beamer won game number 1 here. This is not a best of series. They're 2 game sets. And how the group stage here in this tournament works is very simple. Each player will play each other in their own group twice. The winner of that group advances into the bracket. Second place winner also advances into the bracket. Each obviously with different seeding. So Beamer looks primed and ready to go 2-0 in the group stage.
Yep. Would be, again, a wholly of the serve here for Beamer, being that he is the second seed in our group, and that the 2-3 matchup in every group, that is definitely a pivotal series. So definitely do want to hold serve. And again, with it being myself and Beamer, we're the 7 and the 10 seeds. We're obviously the 8-9 is the closest, but especially in a lot of fields, pretty much no matter what kind of competition you're looking at, 7-10 is also extremely close. I would say that there's any skill difference that might exist between Beamer and I is extremely minuscule. Both of us pretty much pure randomizer runners, relatively newer. Beamer's been around just a bit longer than I have, but we should definitely, hopefully, be able to give you a very exciting series here in a week. And Beamer does just need 1 more super now. He has to find it somewhere. Again, it's probably going to end up being top of Red Tower if he doesn't like to do that Croc Escape miner. But he has options. He could also look at Waterway to try to find charge, but with being this close, I think you do just kind of give up on charge. Yeah, not check that. There are 4 outstanding locations for Beamer, so you can play 25%, or you can just go get the relatively few miners that you need that will definitely come to you. Where Anfunny is going to have to farm up quite a few power bombs here in this B-Tom room. Yeah, we're gonna see that. 14 energy tanks, folks. You almost never see
Hooray!
this because
Achievement unlocked. 14
if you have
tanks.
if you found all of the E-tanks, the seed has not been kind to you. As you can see, our runs are, I mean, it's about to be an hour 9, and Beamer technically isn't even in go mode yet.
Nope. It's been a very long seed.
Yep. Especially with the start, that did definitely seem like how this one was going to go. And yeah, this is game 2 between these two runners. Power bombs galore for Anfunny. And there is the final super that Beamer needs. I would still check probably beta power bombs just because you're going to be right there. And it's a little bit quicker than the second item for power bombs when you already have the first one. Just because going in on close to exact, not necessarily the greatest, and obviously, like, you both played the seed, right? Like, you know what's on longer seed, and despite the fact that we're going to be well into the, our teens, you probably expect that this is a pretty close race because you kind of had to do everything, frankly. Like, Beamer obviously could have gotten a wreck ship earlier, but it was at the wreck ship reserve, so who knows, how early anyone gets to that. So... Oh! Why would that be kind to us? Why indeed? So is Beamer gonna go down and check that other miner? He is. And I don't hate this at all. Especially if it's a super, you're gonna feel great. But if it's a missile or a power bomb, you're not really gonna feel the greatest. And it's a super, very nice. The somewhat cruel joke to all of this is that once Anfunny is out of this lower Norfair hell run, which he's doing a very good job handling, he has to go through Green Bryn and then do another hell run in Upper Norfair. It's a very short one and it's very easy. You have wave to get the wave gate. You've got space and speed to get through the spiky ass 6 tunnel very quickly, but it's a very silly process that we're going through for all of this, but Beamer is here in Tuturian. He turned on his ice beam sooner than he needed to, given that there's an elevator right here, and you do save some frames if you pause on that elevator ride, but no sweat off of his back here. Yeah. As long as Anthony's careful, he'll have absolutely no issues here in this final little Upper Norfair hall run, and then he'll be closely behind here in Turian. And like I said, even with, a little bit of unfortunate things here, especially if Anfunny could have, routed that path to Green Red Star a little bit better, we would be very close here toward the end of this, hour 15 plus seed at this rate. Turns out, when you have speed for like the final 2/3 of the seed, it's pretty good. So we'll see if Beamer can nail down this baby skip here. So, Anthony's got plenty of ammo. He actually has 20 extra missiles given how everything has turned out, so no checks necessary here, I say, as he unnecessarily checks what is going to be a power bomb. Beamer doesn't skip babies. It's a little surprising to me, if I'm being honest. I know, we have said he is a randomizer only player, but especially the older version, as the kids like to call it, the boomer skip now. The newer one has been around. I think it's 2022 was when it was found, so it'll be 3 years coming up here in a month or so. But it's definitely not easy, but it is definitely learnable. And yeah, I like missiling out that door. Yeah, there's Anfunny showing off that pause on the elevator. On down elevators, if you take the ride normally, you have to wait until Samus's head is off of the screen. If you pause on the elevator ride for whatever reason, the transition happens when the elevator itself hits the bottom of the screen. So it does save a little bit of time if you have to pause already as it is. And then, yeah, Anfunny showing off a little bit of a quirk there, screw attack, because it, basically makes you invincible. The Metroids don't grab onto you when you do it. And without bombs actually getting grabbed was a little bit bad for him. Had to, just do the power bomb strat even with the ice beam equipped. But again, given the place we are in the race, so I was about to say Beamer doesn't baby skip, but he down back Zeb skips. That is that is certainly a unique amount of a unique skill set to have. Shout out to down back Zeb skip. One day I will probably learn it, but I've never even tried it. Beamer being careful, I do like that. Looks like he 9-9'd that, which is interesting. I typically do 15-7. I also do like using missiles more on that, both because if you get sniped, it's only one missile versus, a super is a lot more valuable. But he needs 16 super's worth of missiles. 16 times 3 is 48. So he started with 61, giving him 13 additional missiles of leeway. So he shot 10 extra, and we'll be fine. As long as Mother Brain's head doesn't, find a portal through space-time and, just avoid all of the supers. Yeah, Anfunny also being extremely safe here. Did it get that baby skip, but definitely did not need to missile open that door at all. It's possible he's got his math mixed up in his head and he thinks 70, 50. If he thinks 70, 55 is the minimum, then it makes sense to do that, but it's 70, 50. So like I said, he's got, 20 extra missiles, as it were. And he's saving. Yeah, he definitely, I think he has his math wrong as far as what his actual minimum is, because he has quite the surplus here. Beamer finishing up Mother Brain 2 as Anfunny is about to get into Mother Brain 1 here. Also went for a down back skip, didn't get it, so screw attack gonna come off here. Again, I mean, this is going to be even closer than the last race where Anfunny was in the Mother Brain fight when Beamer finished. This time he's in the Mother Brain fight while Beamer's in the Mother Brain fight. So yeah, bit of a unfortunate pathing to Green Rin Star. Really would have made this one extremely close given that various skip that Anfunny successfully pulled off. Dueling Mother Brain fights here, Phase 3 versus Phase 2.
Such a close game.
Absolutely. So, give our runners here one more shout out. If you have enjoyed this series, which how could you not, given the close nature of it, the very divergent pathing, and the very impressively pulled off various skip here from Anfunny. Go ahead and give them a follow. And, stay tuned. It is only the 9th of the month. Like we said, we've got 31 days here for our group phase. We'll see who procrastinates longest as far as getting all of their matches, scheduled and completed. But still got, 22 days potentially of races here in the month of August for this Super Metroid Randomizer tournament, and then what should be, a very exciting top 16 bracket with best of 3 series.
Yep.
definitely looking forward to all the action we have ahead of us.
If you're interested in following the racers, give them a follow. Follow the commentary team if you're interested in following along with the tournament. That's SGL25. That's MR. Join the Discord. If you're interested in volunteering, come and sign up. You can do comms and/or tracking. Always welcoming and appreciative of new volunteers.
Absolutely, volunteers. No one's getting paid here. We do all do this out of love of the game and love of the community. So if you want to help out in any way, even if you just want to be a tracker and push the buttons, that way your commentators aren't pushing them very delayed because they have to say them aloud to themselves to remember that they're tracking. Very appreciated. Yeah, first place here for Beamer with an official race time of 1 hour 19 minutes and 4 seconds. Right. Likely going to be the slowest victory here. That was a tough seed here for our runners. They did not. There was not a lot of kindness afforded to them here, and Anfunny is.
He's done as well. So for those that aren't familiar or aware, we do have a 5-minute delay from the racers to what you see on the restream. So Anfunny marked himself as finished here in the game.
Beamer is here with us in the commentary booth. Hopefully Anfunny
Beamer, welcome in.
Join us as well if he so desires. He just wanted to show off, taking a bunch of damage to Mother Brain, and then was like, you know what, I'll kill her. What the heck? Probably won't be able to do that climb spark. Or even, he's got a little bit of trouble there even in Leodox. But he's got reserves if he wants to, pop them. I'll get you an invite here, Anfunny.
Either way, GG's to Mr. Beamer. Mr. Beamer, how are you?
I'm doing fine, and I'm happy I won, obviously. I'm a bit stupid in that second seat, so at some point I realized that Crate Slayer is at the other end of Global Warfare, and I make the decision not to do Warrior less. But I still keep picking up E-tanks and power bombs for whatever reason. I don't know what was going on there with me. So Anfunny already told me he was doing the whole thing barrierless. I kind of expected it, and he would have definitely deserved to win it with that. I'm happy I could take it off him anyway.
Yep, so Anfunny has joined us as well. GG's to you both. Two very close races and some very divergent paths in both of them. The beginning of this one was very difficult. Anfunny, you were actually looked to be have a good advantage for quite a while, doing the gauntlet immediately, which kind of hurt you in that first seed, having to reset the ice beam. But yeah, that sequence was very tough with the having to do 2 tanks, croc door refill, and then that hell run to chronic boost to end up finally getting power bombs.
Yeah, I knew I picked up everything, and I was like, okay, it has to be this way because I can't go anywhere else. So, yeah.
It only came to me when I decided to go there a second time with another E-tank from Gauntlet, and I thought it has to be somewhere. Why I can't pick up any miners here? What am I supposed to do here? And then it dawned on me that I can go to chronic boost. So, yeah, stupid seed the second one. The first one was cool. I like that one.
It was just a bit of late power bombs there in both of those seats. Shoutouts.
Yeah.
Chargers at Plasma. found it funny. I was talking, just how thorough you wanted to be. You were pretty likely to run in that charge beam, but it was still hidden away from you. Beamer had a little bit of trouble getting all that ammo at the end, but ended up working.
Yeah. I had trouble with everything in the second one. just stupidity all around. Oh man. Should have won this, Anfunny. Come on, man. You got to take advantage of races like that one.
I should have checked Spazer way earlier. That would have like put me in a really comfortable spot and to do a lot of other stuff. But I got it super speed.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I got that super late, so it messed up my East Meridian and all this stuff. So yeah, I think that's one thing I should have just done. I was there. I should have gotten it.
It's one of those things, people have varying opinions on, you came into Red Tower, I think it was at the 2 portal, and I do like to just go left and check it, but some people, check the other portals, and you never know what you're going to get. And obviously, being both Croc and Wreck Ship, which you kind of wanted to do both of them, it just led you away from there. But yeah, basically, like, as soon as you two could have diverged with like getting power bombs and Green Brinstar, you did. Like Anfunny just went back to Upper Norfair where Beamer went to do some Red Tower stuff. So we knew about Turian high jump and speed for a long time, but yeah, it caused Anfunny to do a whole lot of retreading and also just not being able to do East Meridia. Upper Norfair was slower. Obviously, you didn't even do the top of Wreck Ship, but yeah. At the end there, Anfunny, you had a little bit of trouble getting back to Green Brinstar. Did you like mismark your map or something?
I just was that when I went to West Meridia on accident?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just like saw a line and I thought it was pointing there, and it ended up being a different spot. I'm like, oh wait.
Damn.
Yeah, that was probably like a minute and a half or something I wasted there.
Oh, yeah, no. It looked like you could have been first into Lower Norfair. It would have been tough to keep that lead given the lack of Varia, especially with all the resource management. But it was still really close. Obviously, what, like 2.5 minutes between you at the end of it, and especially like you said, I mean, if you get speed, the first time you're in Red Tower, definitely a little bit of a different story here.
I think so, but yeah, GG's Beamer. You're always a tough opponent, and I think
I try.
I think I might be starting to catch up with you a little bit, though.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, last year, huge difference. Oh man!
I knew that. I knew I am only slightly faster than you, so I knew I had to bring my A game.
Yeah. But yeah,
which I didn't.
First opponent, it's definitely a good first opponent for this tournament. So, yeah, always have fun racing you.
Yeah, likewise, man. Someday I'll be back in the SM Red stuff. I swear.
I've been skipping it this season because there's so much going on right now. I'm doing like the GTC tournament. I'm thinking about doing SGLIVE and I got a marathon thing I'm going to do too, and so there's just a lot going on. So
yeah, then there's Hardway to Hell.
Yeah.
Yep, definitely lots of things coming. We had been a little bit of a, things have been a little of a lull between, lots of Super Metroid stuff. Obviously, the Map Reno tournament happened earlier this year, but now we almost have too many things going at once. That's just kind of the ebbs and flows of it. But yeah, it was definitely
true.
A very fun series to watch. Obviously, I still have to race both of you here upcoming, so
that's gonna be a blast.
Looking forward to it. Yeah.
I think you have about the same advantage against me that I had with Anfunny, so it should be pretty cool.
I don't know, Beamer. You scare me because you have you have more weirdness and wackiness in your playstyle than anyone. So I don't even know what to do about it. It's just like.
What do you mean by that?
I think I watched some of your races last year, and it's like you're like, okay, I got to do something crazy to have a chance here, and it just works. And I'm like, what the heck do you do with this guy?
If you're referring to for example, my match against Audra last year, that worked despite me doing stupid stuff because Audra died a couple of times. That had nothing to do with my stupid routing.
I mean, skipping Green Brinstar working is not something that you kind of expect, but it did, and you made it work. And you a lot of people, I feel don't necessarily game plan to I think I have to do something to beat this opponent, so I'm going to. A lot of people are just I'm going to play and whatever happens, happens. And to me, that's kind of scary. I'm going to be honest. You could just do this thing that I'm not ready for, or take some crazy path and it just works.
I know some people don't like that. Most people would say you gotta play the way you play and just hope that it works out. And I don't feel that way. I feel that if I feel outmatched, then I gotta make it work somehow. If I lose by 2 minutes or by 20 minutes, that doesn't matter. But maybe I win.
Play to win the game. Play to win the race that's in front of you. It's it's kind of like a short-term versus long-term thing, right? Probably if you play crazy riskily all the time, it's not going to necessarily work out in the long run. But in the long run, you're going to be better at the game than you are at this current moment, right? So, Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Whatever that means
Most
for
of
you.
the time. Yeah, exactly. It's depending on the opponent, 100%.
So maybe,
I don't know what I do against you, DJ.
Yeah,
I'm
maybe
not,
I'll
I'm
match
not
your
su- I'm not
weirdness and
sure yet.
wackiness, and we'll just have a clown show, and maybe we'll get some crazy map like this where Frontal Lore and Orpheus is created and you had to double hell run just to get to Greenburns. We've had some weird maps thus far this tournament. It's been an adventure for all of us.
I'm gonna take
So much fun
I'm gonna
to
take
watch.
my high jump and spring ball to Dragon Slayer, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, also, if we get a CF clip seed, you're just gonna beat me, which I kind of don't like. So just don't do that. Gentleman's agreement.
Yeah, I'm afraid I have to decline that one. Oh, by the way, was there ice or speed in the first seat anywhere, or did they forget to place it?
And Crocky Tank, they were kind of right next to each other.
Oh no, okay,
Anthony had both of them. Yeah, you literally never even saw Croc. That was fun.
No, yeah, it's true. And that pesky third power bomb pack, that was really annoying.
Yeah, this seed had a lot of them. Anthony, you ended up with what, 35, and then you saw that extra one at the end for fun. So it was. They took a while to come, but then they came a little bit more frequently.
This was cool. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Don't listen to anything I said. Take none of my advice. I was trying to throw you off. Don't rewatch this at all. But yeah, it'll be fun. Like I said, Beam Beaver, we are scheduled for about a week from today.
Yeah.
Similar time frame, actually. And then, Anthony will talk and race after that. I gotta give myself this week to focus on Beamer.
Yeah, all good.
Beamer.
All right, folks. Yeah. Real quickly, final thoughts. Beamer, Anthony, DJ. I'll take us home.
Final thoughts. Great race. Probably gonna watch it back. Anfunny as close as I expected. Thanks and goodbye.
Yeah, thanks for DJ and WX for doing the restream and commentary. Yeah, great race, Beamer. Always a good time. Yeah, I'm looking forward to racing you next, DJ.
Alrighty. Yep. Thank you both. It was very fun to be here. We'll get a little bit of things for you here. We have, like I said, we have one race later today. They may or may not be doing both. I think, like in the schedule start, they said they might try, but they didn't actually put it on there. And I tried to contact them and haven't heard back. So maybe there's two races between Lies of Gasoline and Beef Harbor tonight. Maybe there's one. The first one is definitely 10:30 Eastern on Speedgaming Main. And then we have a match on the schedule for tomorrow. It's Derp versus Karen. Definitely Derp's first match. I don't know if Karen has, but that's at 3 p.m. Eastern. And then there's several other things getting on the schedule here. And obviously, many more matches to be scheduled. So I'm sure next week will not just be a match on the 14th and then us on Saturday. So definitely keep tuned to that Speedgaming schedule and, watch all of the many things that are going on SGLIVE. We were the first tournament to kick it off, but I know there's been qualifiers for things going on, so other tournaments will definitely be starting as well here soon, and you'll have no shortage of things to watch. So thank you all for watching, and I'll let Adam take us out.
Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, however it is that you identify, thank you so much for tuning in and watching here on Speedgaming. For Beamer and Anthony, for DJ, I'm WXFan21, saying we will see you next mission.